All right. We're good now.
Cool.
You ready? You good?
Yeah.
Comfortable? I like the fit.
Thanks.
Do you own Dolph?
No. My best friend does.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, Dollface Club.
Yeah, they've been around for forever.
Yeah, I think
for a long time.
10 years.
Yeah.
She's actually doing a 10-year like fashion show in October. Yeah.
Yeah, you looking for me, you can find me at the spot. Chopping it up with Jonah, we talking about what's hot on the block. Up in Dago, man, we bumping. Keeping it confidential, you notice how we coming, we in front. Looking for that real, better tune in and stick by. Put on for the city every time that I dip by. Get into that gritty every time that we sit down. Promise you it's real every time that I get round. Come on, been in the field playing, we work.
Welcome back, Barbershop Confidential, the podcast. Your boy Jonah. Today I have a special guest, Madi. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you taking time to come and do this.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a chit chat. Are you from Seattle?
Yeah, I'm from Seattle.
I love Seattle. Seattle's my favorite city aside from San Diego.
Really?
Yeah, me and my wife go there all the time.
In the summer or?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
We wait till like November.
Oh, like fall.
Yeah, like November to February, because her birthday's in February. So it's either we go on our anniversary, which is November, or her birthday in February.
You guys like the color, like the flowers or the
cold,
leaves? The cold, oh, not so much
like
for me.
the gloomy weather, I love it.
No, that's why I came out here, was for the weather and like for the people that I know. But yeah, I lived most of my life in Seattle. It was not a vibe for me. So.
No, you don't like it?
No.
What is the weather?
The weather and just like, I feel like when you grow up somewhere, you know, and for me, it was like old people, places and things because I'm in recovery. And so all of my recovery journey has been in San Diego. And so that anytime I've ever moved back, like I've always relapsed or something like that. Yeah.
Kind of triggers like a comfortable memory. And so you fall back into
just like going out to like seeing old people, like I know like everybody out there, you know, and so it's just like once you get back into the scene, and that's kind of like something that we say in recovery is like you want to stay away from old people, places and things because it can just lead you back to like the same path that you were on before, you know? Because
usually those people aren't on the same journey you're on. So
no, they're still like partying and they're still on one, you know? So
if you don't mind me asking, just because I didn't know you were in recovery.
Yeah.
Or maybe I overlooked that part. Is it, can you share what you're in recovery for? Or
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, pretty much like I started using when I was like 12, 13. And, I just got into like, first it started with drinking, smoking, and then got into like Molly, which led to meth, and then just started experimenting coke and, you know, just kind of like things that I could do daily. And then, you know, like when I would go out and stuff like that. And I mean, like a lot of the stuff that happened to me in my recovery is like what is like a huge part of what led me to like where I'm at today, you know? And so I first got sober when I was like about like 23, and then I kept relapsing. And then finally 3 years ago, I like was like, okay, I need to really like be about this. And so on June 4th, I just celebrated 3 years clean.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
3 years clean, that's dope.
I know. That's a big deal.
I'm not going to try to understand what you're going through or what, because I couldn't. You know, that's like a journey you've been on. I did go 1 year without drinking, but I wouldn't say I had an issue drinking. I just wanted to see if I could do it.
Right.
So I just cut it for like the whole year.
Yeah. How did you feel when you did it?
I felt great. Like, and it was easy. I would still go out with my friends to the club and they'd pop bottles and I would just drink water. It was so easy for like the first 11 months.
Right.
I had a deadline. New Year's, I'll drink again. When it hits 12, I'll have a drink.
Nice.
The closer I got, like month 11, so like November to December, the itch was like driving me
like
up the wall.
fiending.
Because I knew it was like, it's almost over. Like we're there already. Like who cares? Just kill it. Have one drink. But I stood strong, but it was only hard at the end because I had a deadline. And I think that's what probably messed me up on it.
Right.
I should have just been like, just go as long as you can.
Yeah.
And then I probably would have gone a little bit longer.
Yeah. I have like, a few like normies, that's who we call like people who aren't addicts.
Okay.
Who go like a certain amount of time like without drinking, and they start to notice like their brain starts to work differently. They start to feel different, like in their body. They start to take care of themselves, you know? So, I mean, if you look, like, alcohol is not good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I think it's always good for people to just, like, give it, like, a try.
Give it a try.
Of, like, taking a break. You know what I mean?
You know what? I used to be addicted to soda. Like,
there you
heavy,
go.
Like, tough. Like, you couldn't have a 2-liter in the house because I'd kill it. Like,
right.
It was an issue, right? And then one day I was like, yo, this is crazy. So I cut it, and there's like a sugar withdrawal.
Yes.
Like, where I couldn't sleep because I'd wake up like thirsty, like I needed like a sweet drink or something. And then I started drinking like the Crystal Lights that you put in the water to give it the flavor. And that helped me weed off Coke. Now I don't even, like, it'd be rare if I drink it. Like, my wife will get a Coke and I'll take a sip and be like, that's nasty.
Right.
But because I, you know, like, was able to go through that and like power through the temptation to have Coke and soda, that's hard actually.
Yeah, that's an addiction, you know? Yeah. And like,
levels, of course, but yeah.
Yeah, there's levels, but it also is like, once you're in recovery, or, you know, like, you just trade one addiction for the next.
That's true.
You know, so it's like food, and then like sex, and then men, you know what I mean? Like, there's just like a list. You know, you go down and you're like, okay, check. I'm not addicted to that anymore, you know? But it's like like mine right now is like shopping. Like, just I just love
clothing, or just
I love clothing. Okay. Like, it's like a hobby, but like I'll go thrifting. Oh
wait, you're very stylish.
Thank you.
Props.
But yeah, I'll go thrifting, and then my homegirl's brand, Dollface Club, like, I love everything about her brand, and so that's kind of like my like new little thing.
I mean, I don't want to like sound insensitive, but it's a healthier one, right?
It is healthier, yes,
but we can't excuse it at the same time because.
Well, the thing is what's so funny is like, well, it's not funny, it actually sucks. But 2 days ago, I had like a storage unit, and I had like a whole bunch of winter clothes that were all like Dollface, and she'll like patch like Louis Vuitton and Christian Dior, and so I had a whole bunch of like really expensive winter clothes that I bought from her, and so I put it in the storage, and then like 2 days ago I came downstairs to the storage and everything was jacked.
I know you posted about the jacket.
Yes. No, it wasn't just those jackets. It's
but I saw
multiple.
that post. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. And so for me, which is so funny because I was reading James like that morning. And so when that happened, I was like, God, like, what are you trying to test me on? Like, it was like, there was also stuff passed down from like my grandma, like things that are like priceless, you know? And so I was like, God, what are you trying to test me on? And that morning, actually, in the Bible, like I don't know which chapter in James, but it was like, God doesn't test you. There's just evil in the world, you know? But that like the trials you go through, if you're focused like on God and on your faith, then it should like mature you, you know? And so for me, just because like, you know, another thing that like I've learned like from scripture too is like, if you think about something more than you do about God, then that's idolatry, you know? So if I'm like shopping, like my next fix of like just really it's like a dopamine hit for me to get something that's like super sick, you know? And so if I'm like just tripping on that like more than God, then I'm idolizing that. And that's literally like a commandment is to like, is idolatry, you know? Like that's a sin, you know? Like a pretty big one, you know, in God's eyes. So, you know, and so I'm just like, I'm slowly learning, like, also, if that's like the worst thing that's happened to me, like in my life today, like, I think I'm okay. Like, it still sucks, but, you know, way worse stuff has happened. And so it's just like one of those moments where I'm like, okay, God, like, I just have to, you know, I had that one day where I was just like mad, had to deal with the police, like all this kind of stuff. And then the next day I was like, I got to keep it pushing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that. I have this thing where I'm not attached to material things. That's like I've had like things stolen from my car, stereo back in the day or whatever.
Right.
Or lose money. Even that, like when I lose money, I always think like, God, at least give it to somebody who needs it. Like I hope somebody who needs it picks it up and it like it's gone. I don't have it no more. At least somebody can pick it up and it helps them out.
Right.
That's just how I try to look at loss of possession things. Like at least I hope somebody else can take advantage of it.
I'm not there yet with that stuff, but I feel you. I hear you.
I try to like look for the silver lining for stuff like that because, I mean, I know you lost a lot of important things, and I'd probably feel away too. But at the same time, even if with anything, I'm not even talking about like losing material, like in general. What am I going to gain from sitting there being upset about it?
Right.
Like my energy is going to rub off on my wife. Now she's in a bad mood.
Right.
Now she's in a bad mood. Now I'm in a bad mood because she's in a bad mood. Instead of like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like energy doesn't get lost. It just transfers from one to the other.
Right.
So I try to like not like let it get to me when I lose things or I break something, especially if I break something. That's like a childhood trigger.
Right.
Breaking something
Childhood
was
trigger,
like the worst thing that could. I'm Mexican. Are you?
I'm Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, Hispanic, right? So like breaking something in a Latino household is like you might as well have cussed your mother out.
Yeah.
So breaking something, my mom would be like, "Oh, you're never careful." Like it would become like a yelling thing, right? So now breaking things is like I don't care.
Right.
I'm not gonna let that. I don't want that to trigger like those memories and shit.
Yeah. I talked to my titi about it, and she's like, "You're not gonna die with that stuff," like, you know. And I was like, "Okay," you know. I was like, "I hear you," you know. I mean, she said like things that were like, you know, enlightening. She's like, "You can't let this like be all of a sudden you're like all depressed and sad about it." Like, she's like, "You got to keep it pushing," you know. And then she was like, you know, they always say that like the biggest like challenges are like to God's warriors, you know. And I feel like that's always been like a constant like factor, I guess, like in my life, where people like hear my story and they're like, "Bro, like how did you get through that?" You know. And so that's how I feel. Like I'm like, okay, I'm a warrior for the Lord.
Like, chill out, like
yeah.
You want to test somebody else real quick? Yeah, no, I feel that. I actually do have another addiction that you brought me. I have a shoe addiction.
Okay, me too.
Jordans, sneakers.
I feel you.
Any type of shoe. It doesn't have to be sneakers, like dress shoes. I have a wall full of sneakers.
Oh, that's cool, yeah. And
that is like an addiction. It's something I've been working on cutting back, not letting like the FOMO of missing out on a drop. Not so much these days because like the market's changed, you know, sneaker shit. But not so much now. But before it was like I needed like any shoe that dropped, I had to get it. Like
right.
Like I didn't care. I would sell like my phone to go get the like. It was an issue like for real like.
Yeah.
So I've been able to like slowly be like, it's not that serious. They're just shoes. My mom would always tell me like, your titi would. Yeah. She'd be like, you have 2 feet. What do you need? Something? They're gonna break down and you never got to wear them.
Right.
And I'm like, Mom, you're speaking so much logic right now, but I ain't trying to hear none of that.
For real.
Like, leave me alone with that. Just my addiction, Mom, please. Like,
right.
And then I always try to be like, well, I'm not robbing or stealing. Like, it could be worse, Mom. Like,
right.
Like, you only have
I know. I go to Ross. You know they have Jordans and Dunks at Ross.
And
Cortez's,
yeah.
So I'll go in there and as soon, like, it doesn't matter. I'll go there. Like before this happened, I was going there like every other day, you know, me and my homegirl, Clea. And so you would go in there and like anytime we see a shoe, like we're like, okay, well, if there's 5 Jordans, like we're going to get all 5.
Oh,
you know
not
what I
one,
mean?
all 5.
Yeah, for real. We're like, it's Ross. It's a little cheaper. You know, you like make it make sense.
Yeah, like God put him here for me.
Yeah, exactly.
He knew I'd be here right now.
Yeah, at this Ross.
At this time with my friend.
Yep.
I gotta take him. Got a message loud, read it loud and clear.
Right.
I was telling you, like, I'm fairly new to like my journey with God.
Yeah.
It was last year around Easter that I was like, I remember I said my wife, she was sitting here working, and I came in and I was like, we've always had this thing about churches and the hypocrisy from my point of view, right? From churches and Christians and stuff like that. I always had this like negative.
Me too.
Negative look on it. Like, it's a fucking, not so much a code, but it's like a money thing. Like they just want money and shit like that. So I always had like a negative look at it. And so, but I had a guest come on and I was telling him that, and he's a Christian. And he's telling me, he's like, that's Jonah, the hypocrites are supposed to be at church. So if you're sick, you go to the hospital. Those people need to be there.
Right.
They need help. And I was like, damn, you stumped me, bro. Cause I was like ready to like, you know, argue with him about it.
Right.
And he kind of shut me down on that. I was like, damn, he's low-key right. So then I talked to my wife. I was like, I want to go. I wanted to see how she'd feel because...
What church did you guys go to?
Right here on Heart Rev.
Oh, okay. I've been to Heart Rev.
And I was kind of feeling her out because she had the same ideas as me. So she's like, oh, I've been thinking about it too. I was like, oh, man, thank you. Like, I was kind of like a relief to be like, oh, we're on the same page. And And so then we started going. We've gone like every week and stuff like that.
Nice.
So, I enjoy it. I like hearing the word.
Right.
Don't kill me, guys, but I don't like the worship.
Okay.
I skip it. So I show up. Like I already got a time from.
Is there a reason why?
It doesn't.
Like the song
doesn't resonate.
Or like the vibe or
like none of it. I hear it and I feel like
uncomfortable.
Not uncomfortable. I'm kind of
like when people like raise their hands or whatever. Does that make you feel weird?
No, it's more like the song doesn't have. When you hear a song, you kind of the tone and the beat kind of gives you a sense of like, oh, it's coming to an end.
Right.
And then I would think like and then they pick it right back up, and I'm like, oh, yo, this song is like the original like hip hop song. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't end. Like,
right.
And then it would. So I don't know.
Because I think at your church, you guys do like you mix it all into one song. I'm pretty sure, right? Because I went
skip it. So
right. So my pastor, he's from Heart Rev. And so
I was gonna ask you, is it Oscar?
Yeah,
I know him.
You do?
Yeah, we used to go to the same gym here in Chula Vista.
No way.
I
gotta FaceTime him with you.
Before he did that. Before he found his journey.
Back in the day?
Yeah, I knew him back in the day.
Dang.
When he was taking like mad selfies every day. Yeah. I know that, Oscar.
Right. He still's got a little bit of that in him.
A little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, a little bit, still there.
Love you, Pastor. Yeah, so he took us, like all the leaders to Heart Rev for it was like a prophecy night kind of thing. And they did worship at the beginning, and it was like all blended in together. And so I was like, wait, I was like super confused, like as it was happening. And I actually had the same feeling where I was like, is it ending or what's happening?
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
But at home church, which is Pastor O, that's our church. We do like 3 songs, and then that's it. And so it's a vibe
reasonable.
Too. Yeah, and like plus like our church is like it's like small, and the songs that they do use are kind of like repeated, like not every service, but like throughout, like you're like, oh, I heard that like a month ago, and then you know what I mean, so you like get familiar with like the songs and the vibe. And our church is like a younger like vibe,
younger crowd,
yeah, like our age. I don't know how old you are, but you would fit right in. And so what's cool though is they choose songs that are like upbeat. Like we'll have like some songs that are like, like where you're really like worshiping, like you're really having your moment with God. But there's a lot of times where we're like clapping or like jumping and dancing, and where it's like lit, like literally though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I've tried to like listen and like look at the lyrics, and just something, and it's like a thing with people I've had on who go there and they're like, this is my favorite part. Like I cried during that. And I'm like, I feel nothing. Like,
when do you feel like the most? Like during the sermon or after? Or
during the sermon, and then sometimes after. But I was, you know who DMX is?
DMX.
He's a rapper.
I feel like oh, okay.
He's passed, but he's like a rapper from like the early 2000s.
Oh, okay.
But he would always include a prayer into all his albums.
I don't know. Wow.
But he would like if you tell somebody who's like a little bit older and listens to like rap and hip hop, and you tell them DMX, and be like, oh, that guy was crazy. Mm-hmm. But in all his albums, he included a prayer, because he would just purposely include a prayer, and they were like, those prayers hit. Like I can listen to those like, and I feel it like,
because they're just like raw. Or?
Yeah, they're just like, I don't know what it is. I just really relate to it, and I enjoy those prayers. And then he has a couple songs that are like faith. Like raps about faith, about God walking with you and stuff. Cool. And I really like that song. So I try to tell people, like, I may not like listening to those or feel anything, but I do hear music that has like God in it, and I do enjoy it. I think it's just the lyrics, maybe the beat, or
right.
It just doesn't grab my attention, I guess.
Yeah. I love worship. I really do. I think that when I first started going to church, like I'd be like this, and I'll be like looking around like at first, and then like once I really like was walking with the Lord, and I used to be a dancer, and so like music has like a really like a big effect on me, like on how I feel. And so like there'd be moments where like, I remember like one time I went to church, and it was like the day after like one of my best friends passed away. And I was like there and like just closed my eyes and I like shut everybody out. Cause it was just like one of those moments where like I was really feeling like myself with the Lord, you know? And so, you know, and that song, like, and that moment hit me. And now it's like whenever I hear that worship song at church, like it hits me again, you know? And there's just like certain songs that like I'll get hyped for. And, you know, but for me, like, it's really like, I don't care who's next to me, who's behind me. You're just like, if I'm in the front or in the back, like it's me and God.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like I imagine myself like literally, and sometimes I'll go on my knees and I just feel like I'm at God's feet and I'm just like, cause sometimes like I'm not like really good at praying. And so I have a little hard time like praying out loud, you know what I mean? Which is like a way of like expressing your faith, you know, and I'll pray for friends like intimately, but still like, I don't feel like the flow of like the prayer, even when I'm like by myself. So for me, like I have worship playing in my house. Like I'm like, hey Alexa, you know, I have it when I'm in the shower, like, so, because I just feel like it's like words that like I can't say are being said in the song. And so, and then sometimes it like will bring a different perspective, like to me, like how the song might be talking about pain and then how they like bring out God in it, you know? And so, yeah, I just like literally imagine myself like at the foot of Jesus. Like if he were to come down today, what would I do? I would literally just get down and I would be like, I would hope that there would be like a song playing, you know, like, yeah, you know,
all, hey, tell the band.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, I wish I could describe why or how or like,
yeah, I
just can't. And just randomly the other day I was posting a picture on Instagram and you know, sometimes it suggests a song for you. It suggested a song like in Mexico, it's called banda, corridos and stuff. And I was like, oh, I like that. But it was like, yesterday in Spanish, it said like, yesterday I talked to God and it had like nice lyrics. And I was like, oh, that's a fire little song. And then I got curious and I was like, I want to hear that, like the whole song, not just the 20-second from the clip. And I was like, and this whole song is about like God, like the whole song.
I love
that. So then I went and looked and I was like, who is this band?
Right.
And they're a Christian corrido band. So like all their music sounds like narco corridos, but it's all about God, like praying and worship. And I was like, yo, I love this. Like,
right. Sometimes it's just like, you know what I mean? Like
that's what I'm saying. So I think it's just like the sound or the vibe or like how I feel, the flow of it. But yeah, so I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool that I stumbled upon a Christian Mexican banda.
Yeah.
Plays like worship corridos. Cool. This is crazy.
Right.
But you never know, right? It's always like the unexpected.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you shared your testimony already?
Like, what do you mean? Like to the church or?
To like people or stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm in recovery. So like, you know, I was on a podcast where it's like strictly for recovery. So I shared my whole story. You know, my pastors had me like I did a tithing, like where I talked to people about tithing and then like naturally about tithing, like, where you give like 10% of your income to the church.
Okay.
So what's so funny though is because like that, like
that's like a trigger, off, right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. They're now, like, I was like,
oh. Yeah. But for me, like Pastor O, which I love about him is like, he's very biblical and he's very direct and he's very raw. Right. And so there is a part before he goes up to preach where there's like tithing and he has like different people do it. But he doesn't have people go up there and be like, if you don't tithe, like, you know what I mean? Where it's like super intense or aggressive. Like he just has people share, you know, their testimony on like how tithing has worked in their life, you know? And so for me, I started tithing pretty much when I opened my business. And so I've had my business for a year now. And so when I started my business, like it was just something in me where it was like, just give 10%. And I was like, okay, like, but okay, you know? But in the Bible, it literally tells you like, that's like one of the only things that God says, like, test me on this, like, is tithing.
Like, trust me.
No, like, test me.
Test.
Like, as in the Bible, it says that if you tithe, like, you're going to get basically 10 times back of like what you tithed. Oh. And it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't like, you're not like, okay, if I tend
so that's
$10,
probably like the confusion, right? The people hear that and are like, oh, it's money. They want money.
Well, I think the confusion happens where people are like, what is the church doing with the
money, the funds,
or their pastors like freaking in a Lamborghini, or you know what I mean? I'm being dramatic, but you know what I'm saying? And so, but
it'd be like that.
Yeah, it does be like that for real, you know?
Because I always think like when people assume things, like they're birthed from somewhere. Like it happened, so then now they think it happens because some people do that. Some pastors do take advantage and
100%
take the money and pocket it or live a lavish lifestyle.
So for me, I was actually going to The Rock. I visited home church one time, and then I just, for some reason, God was like, tithe to home church. And I was like, okay. And so I kept tithing, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, first, actually what happened was I opened my business on April 24th of last year. And I happened to just get approved like on my brother's birthday, and my business is like dedicated to my brother. So that was crazy. And then April 27th, I got baptized by actually like my best friend's husband, who's also a best friend to me, and at the Rock Church. And it was like in front of the whole church. It was crazy. I didn't know it was going to be like that, but I was like down. And so, but I didn't know it was going to be like that. And it was like this crazy like baptism, you know, with my friend Travis and the pastor and the whole church is watching. And I like was like, whoa, you know, it was just like this like out of body experience kind of, right? And so then the day I got baptized, I got 5 clients that just hit me up. Like people I was working 3 jobs at the time. I had only 2 clients. And in my mind, I was like, man, how am I going to like build my business? Like I just got the LLC. I got 5 clients. And then on 6/4, when I hit my 2 years, I got 10 clients. And I was like, I can quit all 3 jobs and fully just go into my business, right? So then I was living at a like a super rundown studio in Little Italy in Bankers Hill, and like from the freaking 1920s. Like it was crazy. They literally had like a bed that you could pull out like from the wall. Like yeah, it was cool to live there, you know. But I was living there because it was like what I could afford, you know. And so then what happened was I kept tithing. There was this moment where God like isolated me. He isolated me from my friends. He isolated me from my family. And I was like just going through it. And I had a dream. I woke up, and it was like, the dream was like, God was like, you need to move. But the reason why you're going to move is so that you can have a place where you can create your own community, and you're going to welcome like the church into your home. And I was like, okay, bet God. And so then that day I went and I looked at 2 places, and then the second place I applied for, it was the first time like that I legit like gave real pay stubs. I gave a real credit check, you know, because I used to like scheme and stuff back in the day. And so, and I got approved like legit, you know? And so then I moved into the spot. The spot just happened to be like a 5-minute walk from home church. And it's like, you know, downtown. It has like cool amenities. Like I have a crazy view of the city. Like I've never lived like that, you know? And like, I remember one time, like back in the day, I was at my drug dealer's house, and he lived in a skyrise that overlooked the city. And I remember like just being out there, and I was like super high, and I was just like, man, like I like dream of living like this. Like, do I just have to like keep, you know, doing what, like stay in the streets and like going up, like coming up like with him, you know? And so it was crazy that it was like, no, like I didn't have to do that, you know? And so anyways, so I kept tithing 10%, and like those things started to happen, you know? And I don't, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say like, because I tithe 10%, like I've always had like consistent income or consistent clients, like a business goes up and down, you know? But I can say that like from me tithing 10% and then seeing what my pastor does with the money and with the church, and you know, on this Sunday we're gonna celebrate like for their 3 years of, you know, and he's moving from like us renting a little spot in downtown to like moving to like a legit church, you know. And that's what my pastor does with the tithing. You know, it's like he just wants to build people. He wants to grow the church. And like because of that, like I give with joy. And in the Bible it says like to give, you know, from the joy of your heart, like to Lord to God's kingdom, you know? And then also like the reason why it's important to tithe, like for me, is because you know, money can have control over your life, you know, like everybody's like, we work to make money, we make money to pay our bills, like money just like runs our world, you know? And so if I give my first fruits, so like as soon as I get paid, I give 10% to the church, 10% to God. So if I give the 10%, it's like I'm saying this money does not control me, you know, like even if like I'm going to be short on my rent, because I have so much faith in God, I'm going to give God, that's how I look at it. I'm giving it to God. I'm going to give God the 10%. And then always, even if I'm like, man, is my rent getting, it always ends up getting paid. Like I always end up like being okay. Like, you know what I mean? And there's been like random things that have happened where like recently, like my, there was like fraud on my freaking bank account. Just like another like life just trying to hit me, you know? Yeah. And I was like, man, I have to like renew my business license, like, you know, and I was like, what am I going to do? And then like, I remembered that I had like a check that I hadn't cashed. And then like when I was looking for it, there was a second check in there I had no idea about, you know? And then I was able to do it. Like, it's just weird. Like I, you know, obviously like God, like he says, like the biggest commandment is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's the number one thing, right? And then there's like little things like that you can add into like your walk with the Lord. And like, so for me, tithing is important. It's not the end all be all. I'm not going to be like, if you don't tithe, like you're not a Christian, you know?
Block me.
Yeah, right. You know, but for me, it's like shown so many blessings like in my life. And really, honestly, I do it more because I'm like, I don't want money to control me. Like it did so much in my addiction. And like, you know, where I'm like, okay, God, here's the first of my fruit. Have it. Like he died on the cross for our sins. Like the least I can do is give 10% of my income to a church. Yeah. And I know the church. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's still like my like there's still hesitance to like really
like fully commit
because I still have, like you were saying, like you did drugs and you danced and all that stuff. So what I guess what we're trying to say is you found ways to make shit happen, right? Like you found ways to make money,
right?
Regardless, right? Like you didn't just do the whole 9 to 5, right? And I used to do things too, not necessarily like super. I was very big on loopholes. Like, I was always looking for a loophole. Like how can I make extra money without it being like gonna get me in trouble type. So yeah, because we'd find ways to like cheat the system essentially.
Absolutely.
So because I have that mentality of like cheating the system, I almost assume that everybody cheats the system. So like if I'm giving, my brain cannot process that it's gonna be done correctly.
Right.
In my head, behind closed doors, they're skimming because that's what I would have done.
Right.
So I guess that's what holds me back sometimes. And I'm trying, like I said, I'm still kind of new. But I'm trying to like break that way of thinking.
Yeah.
But it's still there because that's what I did for so long. Like, it's just tough.
No, I feel you. I mean, I still have things like in the church where me and my homegirl, Clea, we talked about it, like where like you're praying, right? And then you hear people and they're like, every time they're praying, they're crying. Or like every time they're praying, they're like, I'm not going to imitate it because I'm just not. But like there's like characteristics and demeanors that are like happening. And it's like every single time. And for me, I'm like, how is that even real, you know?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, okay, it's not my place to judge somebody else's walk, you know? But for me personally, like I'm not going to go into a prayer room with a whole bunch of people that like brings me into like a judgment zone where I'm not there for the Lord because I'm so distracted by like other things. Yeah. And so there's things for me too where like I still have to like, I shouldn't allow, you know, somebody else's like whatever they got going on to affect what I should be like I should have going on with the Lord, you know. But that's like one of the things for me, you know. Like recently I like found out some crazy like family things, and I was like, you know, I was just like distant from God. Like I'll always have faith in God, and I'll always like rock with him and ride for him. Like, and I know God knows that, and I know God knows my heart, but it was almost like I was like a little kid, and I was like, I don't want to talk to you right now, you know? And I would tell him, I'd be like, God, I don't want to talk about this. Like, I know that I'm supposed to pray to you. I know I'm supposed to be grateful right now, you know? And I even told my pastor, I was like, bro, like, I just feel like I don't feel fully connected right now, you know? And then he, like I said, my pastor is very raw, biblical, and he's like, you should, if anything, during the hard times, you shouldn't turn your back on the Lord, you know? And then I was telling him, I was like, it's just hard for me because I feel like because of my addiction, like so many years, like I'm emotionally like stunted, you know, because I used drugs for so long to like numb myself and not want to process my emotions, you know. And my pastor too, he'll say like what you said, like, you know, I'm not an addict, so I can't really like fully relate, you know. But at the same time, it's like he asked me, he's like, don't you have stuff to be grateful for? And I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, you need to train your mind. And I was like, train my mind? And I was like, it like stood out, and I was like kind of like ugh, like, what does that mean, train your mind, you know? So I got off the phone with him, and then I was like sitting in my spot, and I was like, God, like, and I just kept like, what does that mean, you know? And it was literally like God was like, he was like, you have to sit there and feel what you're feeling and allow yourself to feel it. Don't try to distract yourself. Don't try to like
numb it or anything. Yeah,
numb it, or call your friend and like talk crap about it. And, you know, it's like, just sit there with it with yourself. And so what happened was I went into the shower and I just started crying, and it was like, I was like, God, like, what do you want me to do? And he was like, find me. And I was like, find you? Like, I already know you're here. And he's like, yeah, but you're not looking. Like, you need to find me. Like, find me in every little situation or thing that you're going through. Like, look for me. And I was like, okay, God, you know? And like, it was like this like light bulb that clicked where I was like, and for me, that led me to my Bible. Like, you know, people always go in and out of like reading their Bible and not, and being confused. And luckily for me, like, you know, I'm like I get obsessed with anything like I get into. And so I was like, okay, let me find the easiest translation, which is the New Living Translation. And so it's very simple, like, you know, and so then I called my homegirl, and so now every morning and every night, like, that's why I was like, I gotta go at this time because we're gonna read the Bible tonight. Okay. You know what I mean? And so, but since we're talking about God, I'm like, I'll stay here all night, you know? But, and so then it led me to the Bible. And so for me, as I'm reading the Bible, like, it's just wild how, like, whatever you're reading somehow just, like, will connect, like, with whatever you're going through, you know? And, you know, and, like, people who, they're like, a lot of people, including myself, was like, I don't know where to start, like, with the Bible. Like, you know, like, it's so confusing. Like, there's so much, like, to read, like the New Testament, the Old Testament, like, what does that even mean, you know?
You literally start at page 1, like,
right, exactly, you know. And so for me, it was so 3 years ago, actually, something crazy happened where I was like, okay, I'm just gonna move to Bali, and I'm gonna become I was like, I'm gonna become a yoga instructor. And so I was like, I need to go to where it started, you know, like in India.
Its birth.
Yeah. And
Ground zero.
Exactly. And so I found a yoga school that was taught by Indians. And so I went out there, and I was like, perfect. I wanted to get away from the world. I had just, I was pregnant actually with twins, and I lost the first one, and the second one got really sick. And so I wasn't able to have it. And so in my mind, I was like, I thought I was supposed to be like a mother. Like, that was like my next like thing. And so then when that was like wiped away, like from what I thought was going to happen, I was like, God, what am I going to do? Like, I have no idea. And so then I was like, let me just try to go to Bali to be a yoga teacher. So then I went out there, bought a one-way ticket, and I was out there for 6 months. I ended up living there for 6 months, okay? And I know, right?
That's like, all right, spontaneous is.
Yeah, it is. And so anyways, when I was in Bali, though, I brought my Bible, and so I would just open it, and then I would close my eyes, and then I would, like, put my finger down, and I would start reading until something hit me. And then I would do this thing called SOAP, which is scripture, observation, apply, and prayer. So you write down the scripture that spoke to you. You write down your own observation, like how did it speak to you, okay? And then you write down how you're going to apply it to your life, and then you pray about it. And you write down a little prayer. Yeah. And so that's how I started with the Bible, right? And so when I was out in Bali, I was, so a lot of yoga, like, is like the history of it is centered from Hinduism. And so I was learning a lot about the philosophy and the history of Hinduism as I was at this yoga school for like a month. Okay. And so I felt like, and before that I was doing like spiritual things. Like I always believed in God, and I did believe that Jesus died on the cross for my sins. Like even in my addiction, like one time my drug dealer, he was like, on a sick one. He wanted to kill himself. I was on a sick one. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like we were on like a 4-day bender. Yeesh. And I was like, how do I help you? I don't know. And so I just I really do feel like God like took over. But next thing you know, we're in the parking lot of this church that I went to when I was a little girl. I hadn't been there in a while or years. And I gave him like some shades. I put shades on, like still in my club outfit. We go into the church, we sit in the way back, and I was like, let's just sit here and just see what happens, you know? And like to this day, he'll bring it up. He'll be like, you know, thank you for taking me there, whatever, you know? And so anyways, like I always knew, you know, I also before that, I was like doing meditation. I did a yoga retreat, did like Kundalini awakenings, was seeing mediums, like, which, you know, in Christianity, it's witchcraft. So for me, it's witchcraft, right? But I'm not going to knock down anybody's like spiritual journey, because all of that stuff led me to where I'm at today. And so anyways, when I was in Bali and learning about Hinduism, I was fully open to it, you know? And but I just like felt like this weird like I need protection over me. So then every night when I would go to my room, I would like pray. I'd be like, God, protect me, like, you know, whatever. So then I finished the yoga school, and I just didn't feel like satisfied with like the yoga teacher training that I thought was going to change my life, right? And so then I kept doing like different classes, like mobility and just like going to the gym and just like trying to mix it up. And so then there's this yoga teacher who his class was called Yin Intelligence. So it was like a spin-off of Yin Yoga, but the intelligence part was like adding in mobility. Oh. And so then I took his teacher training class, and that's when I was like, this is it. He's white, but from, I don't know what countries he's from. But anyways, he was like, yoga doesn't stem from my culture. Doing the mantras, doing like, it's not my culture, so I don't feel comfortable teaching it. So this is my spin-off of yoga, basically, yin yoga. And I felt more comfortable with that because I also don't, you know, want to be like whitewashing like yoga.
Gentrifying their culture.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. And so I just didn't feel comfortable with it. So anyway, so then I stayed out there, like learned a lot about myself, whatever. I came back home, and then I tried out to be a yoga teacher at a gym, and they were like, no. And I was like, God, like, did I just waste 6 months of my life? Like, you know, so then I was like, okay, I need to like make money fast. Right. And so I, was a nanny, and then I was doing like on call, like for like respite cares, which is for people with special needs. And then I was working at this this yoga studio cafe called Trilogy in La Jolla. It's actually pretty cool. And so I got those 3 jobs, right? And so my idea was like, okay, I'm going to work at Trilogy, and then I'm like going to get to know the yoga teachers. I'm going to like slide my way in. And then like, it just wasn't my vibe. I don't know. Like I wasn't like super like namaste enough, you know? And so then I kind of was just like gave up on it, right? But when I was in the intelligence class, I was like, man, I loved how he did the name like yin intelligence, right? So then my Instagram handle has always been like Miss Mad Love. And so I was like, how can I like go off of that? And so I was like, and then like when I was at the gym, I like made a page that was like Mad Body Love. And then I did Tooth Gems once, and I was like Mad Gems or something like that. Yeah. And so, okay, so I was like, how can I spin this off? And then I was like, Mad Yin Love. And then I was like, Madly Yin Love. And I was like, that's what my yoga studio is going to be called. Okay. So then fast forward, I'm talking to one of the parents that I work with for respite. And I was like, yeah, I telling her my story. She was like, well, why don't you take my daughter to the gym and like use your certifications? Because I also had done a functional range conditioning certification. Like I was just stacking up these like body movement certs, right? And so I was like, okay. So then I take her to the gym, and it was like, boom, it like clicked. And it was like, God was like, this is what you're going to do. Like you are going to become a movement coach for people with special needs.
Oh,
right. So then so then it was, God's so cool. Like he like lined it up where like my homegirl Gabby, she was visiting from Seattle. I could only see her for an hour. She was at her mom's house. Went over there. Her mom's best friend was over there, and I was like, Gabby, I have a dream. Like I'm gonna be a trainer for people with special needs. Her mom's best friend overheard me and then was like, I'm a life coach for people with special needs, and I need somebody like you. So here's 2 clients. And I was like, what? You know, so then fast forward, when I got my LLC, I was like, Madly in Love. That's my business name. You know, I've had my business for a year. You know, and it's in dedication to my brother. My brother has special needs. He has like a genetic depletion syndrome, and he's like one of the older ones. So they don't really know like lifespan or, you know, like what is going to happen as he continues to get older. But, you know, he's nonverbal. He is in diapers. He's a big boy, like 6'1", 250 pounds. My mom takes care of him, always has, all by herself, you know, solely. And I have so much respect for my mom because of that. But because, you know, God works in crazy ways, like, and that's one of the reasons why, like I was telling you, I started my own podcast, and I'm naming it the Healing Voices Project. And it's so that other families, other siblings, other parents can tell their story and like be the voice for their child, for their brother or sister, or the person themselves who has like autism or something, who can talk and kind of like leave a legacy for themselves, you know, because at the end of the day, like, which is also another reason why I'm clean, is because my brother, like, he'll never have sex. He'll never take a drink. He'll never pick his own outfit out. You know what I mean? And I'm over here like doing all of that times 10, like taking advantage of my free will, you know? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, and so when I was younger though, I was like pretty upset about like all the attention, because I didn't understand, like going to my brother, right. You know? And so there was a point, you know, when I was like in middle school and I could make my own like choice to wild out. And it stemmed from that, but it's so crazy because it's like a full circle, because like the feeling that I had, like the anger, the resentment, like just being a little angry teenager that like took me into this crazy life. Now it's like, that's the motivation to why I'm doing what I'm doing, you know, and my purpose, you know?
That's crazy full circle moment you're having though.
Literally.
How old's your brother? Is he older than you or younger?
Younger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just turned 25.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
that must be tough. Like I don't know. I have a cousin who has like a physical disability.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has to walk with crutches. And
maybe like cerebral palsy, or you don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just know he has like really skinny legs. Like, but the way he was raised, my uncle was like, I don't care about none of that. I'm going to treat you just like your brother and sister who don't have that.
Yep.
So if they got to clean the house, you got to clean the house. If they got to walk to school, you got like, he did not treat him any different at all. And
right.
And it shows because even when I was little, as he's a little bit older than me, but I'd go visit in Mexico and chill with him and hang out with him, he'd be like, nah, I got it. Like he would go and find a job.
That's good.
And you can tell, like, maybe I've never asked, like I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable,
mm-hmm.
but you could tell he's a little bit behind.
Right.
From his, like, mentally, from his, where he's, his age, right? But he didn't care. Like, he would still go and work. He'd get a job and find ways to make money. Like, he just didn't ever get babied from my uncle
mm-hmm.
and my aunt. They were like, no, we don't care. Like, you're normal. Like, they embedded in him, you're just like your brother and sister.
Right.
So what if you walk a little different? It doesn't matter. Yeah. And I always thought that was like an interesting, like, way of parenting, right? Because I feel like a lot of when you, I've known people who have like kids with like autism or something, and they're more
they baby them a little bit.
Catering to them and want to make sure they're okay. And my uncle's raw, like he's like, I don't got time to like give you more attention than your brother and sister. Like you guys are all getting the same attention,
right?
Exactly.
That's how my deal was with me and my brother. My mom's a little bit more like babying.
Okay,
yeah. Like she'll be.
I feel like his situation is way more extreme than.
Yeah. He is on the like more severe side. Yeah. But my tia does not care. She's like, you don't want to eat this, then you're not gonna eat. Like she's so funny.
And your mom's like, hey, like I don't think he knows.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
No, because he does know. And that's the thing is like I think that people have this like this perspective and. My dad's one of those people, unfortunately, where they think that they don't know what's happening, like, around them, or, like, they don't understand what you're saying, or they don't know what's like, just in general, like, as if there's nothing going on up here, And that's not the case, and what's so crazy is that there's a lot of, like, non-speaking, individuals who... so there's this thing that's called like spellers to communicate, and so I don't know how long ago it like was like created or brought up, but they're finding out there's a lot of non-speakers who can actually spell, and so now they're spelling through this like board, and so it's just like so amazing, and that's one of the things like I'm like, man, like I wonder if my brother can spell, he doesn't live here with me and stuff, and I think my mom, she's tried a lot of different things, but it's just like so sad though that like people just don't think that they know what's happening, and they do, they really do. Like I have some like non-speaking clients, and like I'll be like, you better push yourself, like let's go, like do another 5 sit-ups, and they like look at me, I'm like, come on, you got this, and then they're like, okay. And they need the motivation. They need like that realness, that rawness, like that your dad brings. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, I think that
it could be also, how when kids are acting up and sometimes they're like, they're a kid, they don't know. I was like, nah, they know what the fuck they know.
Yeah.
They're smart.
For real.
They know which parent to manipulate.
Absolutely.
They understand, but because they know that we're going to give them grace for being kids.
Right.
They act out a little bit. And I feel like, maybe that's the situation. They're like, well, if they do everything for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's one of those things. I think that's why my uncle was like, nah, you ain't getting none of that here.
Right.
And sometimes I feel bad because it's like empathy, right? Like my cousin, like he's struggling to walk, and sometimes he'll drop his crutches and he like still powers through, and it's just like, damn, bro. Yeah. That's just like the raising my uncle had for him.
Right.
That he's just not a quitter.
Right. And I think that like a lot of them do need that. I just did a hike with one of my clients, Mireya, and she like we went up Cowles Mountain, and okay, so it's 1.5 miles, right? And
each way, right? Or total?
I think it's wait, I think it's one way and then a total
like
of 3 miles.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because of all the rocks, and it's like there's even parts where you have to like climb up and
you're like swiggly, and it's not a straight line.
Yeah. No, yeah. And so she has cerebral palsy like in her legs, and so her family always goes on hikes. And so when we first connected, she was like, Maddie, like my dream is to hike up Cowles Mountain. And I was like, I didn't know she had cerebral palsy in her legs. I thought maybe just autism or something. And I was like, yeah, we're going to do it. Like, for sure. Like, what do you mean? Well, that's the first session we'll do, you know? And then the caseworker was like, hey, well, she has a hard time walking. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I took her to the gym and we're like training her legs, training her to like do step ups. I put her even on elliptical. That was crazy, but I put her on there, you know? And so she has like these braces on her feet, and so when the braces are on your feet, like you can't point your toes, like it stays like
straight.
Yeah,
kind of like like
there's no grip happening.
Not to be disrespectful, but kind of like Forrest Gump's legs, the braces
exactly.
he had, right? Yeah.
And so
I want to be insensitive.
No, you're
sounds
good.
So to be like Forrest Gump.
No, you're good.
Just make her run and she'll like they'll break off.
I know, right? And so anyways, so she told me that, and I was like, okay, we're going to do it. And so I think it was last week, we went up Cowles Mountain. It took us 7 hours to go up.
The patience.
7 hours to go up, right?
Bless your heart.
But she did it, you know, and it was tough. Like I had to bring my other homie, Saul, and so he's behind her. I'm in front of her, and you know, there's a video of it that I posted, just because it was so like motivating and impactful, and that's why I'm telling you this, because even you said it was your cousin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like your cousin going through that, like other people see it and it's like inspiring and it's motivating, you know, because like they only know what they know. Right. So like if I have a messed up hip or something my whole entire life, but I want to work out and I want to stay motivated, like I'm going to figure out how to work around that hip, you know? And so I think sometimes people like have like more like, oh, like whatever, but it's because they're not in their shoes where like this is the way they live, you know, like they don't have any other option but to push through things like that. And at the end of the day, like for me, I think that God places people with disabilities and special needs, like I think they're angels on earth, you know. I think that they have like a different like sensory, like there's, if you like, for people who don't know about people with autism, like, you know, a lot of them will like wear headphones or they have to leave like crowded places, or it's because their sensories, like their senses are like so heightened, you know. And like sometimes I see my brother and he's just chilling and he's just like looking in space, and then he starts laughing and I'm like, bro, like are there angels you're hanging out with? Like what's going on, you know? And so, you know, and I also just think that, like also when those, like they're placed into your family, like they're going to teach you something. They're going to, like my brother is placed into my family for a specific reason. And it's unfortunate if our family members don't want to get to know my brother and they want to put him in a box of like, you know, of him not being a human being. That sucks for you, you know?
Yeah.
But for me and like my mom and my tia and my cousins, like everybody on my mom's side of the family, like we all know our brother or my brother, and it's like we have a certain kind of love that's like unconditional, can't be explained, like, and it's deep and you can feel it in our family. You know what I mean? And it's like the loyalty that comes through, like, you know, if my mom needs my aunt, like she's flying from Florida to Seattle to be with my mom to help her with my brother. You know, like my brother brings that kind of like loyalty and like connection that like, you know, I feel like other families like wouldn't necessarily like experience, you know, and you probably see that with your cousin, you know?
Yeah. I mean, just like while they won't necessarily like help him, they're not going to let nothing or anybody mess with him because of his, you know, because of his disability.
Yeah.
Like, and he can walk down and up and down the street where they live and nobody's going to like tell him anything or mess with him because they know like he has this huge family behind him.
Absolutely.
They would jump at a snap of a finger because, you know, because of him, everybody rocks with each other. And it's like, we all got to support each other and love each other.
Right.
I had to set an alarm because you had.
I know you're good.
Okay.
I only was like, if we're gonna talk about toxic stuff, I was like,
you're like 30 minutes. I'm done.
Yeah. I was like, I'm a new person, okay?
Oh, like then you're new. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Then I did have a toxic life, So
I mean, it's funny because a lot of people are like, "Damn, John, you're toxic," and I am, but just like, I was actually thinking about this today. I just find it amusing. Like the toxic behavior and stuff. Like I've been toxic before.
Right.
But in my marriage, I'm not. Like there's no way I'd be with my girl for 12 years. And
oh, wow. 12 years?
Yeah, I've been with her for 12 years.
That's
We've been
cool.
married too. But there's no way it would have lasted this long if I was that, right? So I just find it amusing. It's like I don't know. I was just telling my friend today, I remember the first time I saw one of my homegirls go through it with her boyfriend. And I was like, dude, that was so funny to me. I can't wait to have a girlfriend to do that. She's like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I know.
Right.
And you get it out of your system and then you grow from it and move on. Some people don't, unfortunately, right? Some people get stuck in that, like, I don't know, maybe they get that dopamine fix of like.
I mean, low key, I'm still toxic. Like when it comes to relationships.
Okay.
Like that's like the one thing that I'm like.
Is it like triggering? It's like triggers, I imagine.
I think it's just like, so funny because I literally have a tattoo that says daddy issues, but
so it stems from that.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's like hard to, if you don't have like, I'm not saying I don't like to, literally in the Bible, it says to honor your mother and father. Right. So I don't like to talk bad about, my dad or anything like that. But I can say that it's hard to find a godly man, like a legit, like not a fake godly man.
Yeah, a legit one, right?
A legit one. Yeah. Cause I had my little run-in with the godly man and he was totally not. It was the worst, but it only lasted like 3 weeks and then.
So nothing.
Yeah. Nothing crazy. Yeah.
Little...
It was just like annoying. Cause I was like, God, is this the man for me? Like he knows scripture. He knows how to pray. And then it was like
the wolves in sheep clothing.
Exactly. And so anyways, it's hard to like find or to like know the traits and the characteristics of somebody like when you didn't experience it, like for me, it's like, I've been attracted to like narcissists and I know that word is like thrown around and like whatever, but for me, like truly, like I have a toxic trait of wanting to be with a guy who like doesn't want to be around anybody else. Like they're so into themselves. Like, but at first it's not like in a, oh yeah,
I'm the shit or whatever.
No, it's in a way where I think, or I see that like, oh, they stay to themselves. Like they're not they're private.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like attracted to that right at first. Right. And then like, as soon as I get their attention, because they don't give anybody else their attention, it's like, oh, they give me all the attention, right?
Love bomb.
Right. And then I get so love bombed. I'm like on a high one.
Like,
I'm like,
I
this
found
is the
him.
man. Yeah. And then like over time, it just like, I end up being somebody that like is just pushed to the side. And you know what I mean? And
it's
then
like when a kid gets a toy and then they're like, all right, I had enough fun.
Exactly. And so that's been my experience where then I'm trying to heal them. I'm trying to show them their potential. I'm trying to, and it's just not it, And so I'm in a phase right now and I like joke about it with my homies, like, well, with just like the people that really know me, like Clea and Travis and then Pastor O, and I'll joke like to them, I'm like, I need to find like Pastor O, he's like, my focus is on married couples. And I'll be like, can you focus on the single ones? And he's like, you just have to focus on God. And I'm like, okay, Pastor. And then my friend Travis, he like made a Tinder account for one of our other homegirls who's single. And I was like, bro, why didn't you make me one? And he's like, you're not ready yet. Like,
I don't think Tinder is like the place.
No. But it was like, I don't even know if it was Tinder. It was like
like
app.
A dating app. Okay.
Yeah, dating app. Yeah. But it was like more like I was just kidding, like I don't.
But at the same time, like.
Yeah, like I don't do the apps, like actually. Right. But I was like, why didn't you ask me to do one? Just like, and he's like, you're not ready yet. I'm like, okay. And then.
Does he mean like healed? You're not healed yet?
Yeah, not healed. I mean, he saw me in my last 2 like relationship and then the little situationship. And so like when somebody like fires me up, like my old me like still come out.
It's still there,
like,
right?
I'm knocking on your door, cussing you out, you know. But that was like
hey, just shout out.
That was in like
that's the old you.
December. Okay.
I was like years. Yeah. December.
No, but now I've been celibate. So I've been celibate for like over a year. Like I think I'm coming up on like even almost 2 years. So that is like important to me. Like that's like my growing stage, you know? Like sometimes I like feel like I talk to people and I'm like, yeah, I'm a square now, you know? Like, and I'm okay with it. You know, I'm celibate. I'm not dating right now solely because I know that I'm not like ready, you know? Which
is smart because I feel like a lot of, from my experience, guests that I've had on here, they go from one to the other and like there's no heal, or at least like be alone,
right?
Period, or it's not long enough where they bring on the old stuff
to the new stuff.
One, and it's always like, maybe the guy's not perfect, but he's also paying for the mistakes of the previous guy. Like, and he's kind of like, damn, well, you know what I mean? So like, both people end up getting hurt because he doesn't know, and so you're accusing him, and he's like, damn, bro, like she's crazy, and she's not. She's just still basing everything off her previous experience.
That was me. He was like, you're crazy. I was being a little crazy, but you know,
not to your fault. I mean, it's just.
I take ownership over it, you know, because but the thing is like, I feel like I'm in a place where like I'm self-aware enough, and like, I don't really tell people this or like, but it's cool. Like I like this conversation, but I do take medication like for different like mental health things. And so during that time when I'm knocking on his door, like I was off my meds, you know what I mean? And so like I eventually, like they say like, you know, God can like heal you from like mental health stuff and blah, 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 which I do believe. I just don't think that that's what's going to happen to me like right now, you know,
like and immediately type.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not willing to like test it. Anytime that I've like gotten off of like the meds that I take, I relapse or I just act out crazy, you know? And so for me, it's like mood stabilizers, right? Because I'm like high, low, lows. Like that's just like the way that I've always
either like really hyper, like depressed type.
Yes. Yeah. Like
extreme
tweaker, like not sleeping, like, and I don't even have to be using, like straight up. Like, like I'll say it for days. I'm just like project after project, just like, you know, like as if I am tweaking, and then like I'll crash and then I'll be like super depressed. Low. Yeah. And so anyways, you know, so for me, like, because of like all the therapy that I've done right now, I'm on a therapy strike, but all the therapy that I've done,
pitchfork, you will not.
Well, because I'm like, man, I've trained my mind with witchcraft. I've trained my mind with therapy. I've trained my mind with drugs. I've trained my mind with gossiping and like my friends and like all this stuff. And so, like, going back to what we were talking about, I was like, I just want to train my mind with God. Like, what does that look like? You know, like, I'm tired, honestly, of paying somebody to talk to them about something
when you got Big G upstairs, you know, for free.
And I can just pray to him. And I can read his word and be like, okay, God, I'll try my best. You know, like, for real, like, even last night, we were reading something and it was, like, talking about, like, don't be, like, don't have like revenge, you know? And for me, I'm like, who stole my stuff? I'm like telling all
the boys.
For real. I'm telling like all the people who work at my office, like bugging them, like, did you check the cameras? Like, I even made a paper that was like, return the stuff to this number, or if you don't, the police will be involved. And I made 400 copies and I went to every door and I slid it underneath. Like, like not playing. You know what I mean?
I thought I was going to say like, or your knees are going to pay the price.
Right. No, but you know, and then it's like, and then I was like, well, what would I do if I found the person, or if I saw them wearing my stuff? Like, I would just like, you know, but God was like, don't have revenge, you know, just like, what you're in control of, you're in control of. What you're not, you know. And so
that's a big thing too,
right?
Like understanding that, because I feel like I was like in a situation where it's like, only like take the petty road, like
right.
Sometimes you got to teach people like, you're not the one. Like they're dealing with a different version of me.
Right.
But at the same time, with conversations with my friends, they're like, okay, let's picture you doing that. What's going to be the outcome? You're going to be the bad guy.
Right.
You're doing too much.
Right.
It's not that serious. You overreacted. And then you did what? Did you get satisfaction from it?
Right.
Maybe not. And now you're the bad guy. Right. And now you're looked at differently. Now you're out of character.
Man, I don't even care about all that. Literally, that's how I am. I'm like, I don't care what you think about me. If I'm too much, whatever, you know? Yeah. But for me, it's like me dealing with the old me, with the new me. Like
it's a battle.
Right, it is.
Like, I'm not going to let old me come back. I got rid of you. I need to stay focused on who I am now. And like, this is who I am now. And accepting things I can't control and
and don't get me wrong, like
let God handle my battles for me.
Right. And sometimes I do like I still like pop off, like, you know, like even there, like Pastor O, he knows me like very well, you know, and he's gotten to know me like, you know, very well. And like I popped off at one of the men at my church, you know? And
sometimes you need to.
Well, I did, like, for me, it was like rightfully so because,
like,
and I warned him, he was like, we need to talk, not in church, no. It was like after.
I would have been like.
Right? I know. It was after like a Bible study, right? And he was like, and there was like some back and forth between me and him over church stuff, but like still like, it was, because I'm a leader, he's a leader. Like, it was just like, in that world of like, you know, now I'm not going off on somebody about like, you robbed me for like this. It's like something that we like.
Different of opinions?
Yeah, kind of, you know. It was like not even a really big deal. But I felt disrespected. And like as a woman who like is learning how to respect men, because truly that's where I'm at, is like, how do I respect men? In the Bible it says to be like in submission like to men, right? But also it says like the same, like where the woman, like behind a strong man is their woman, you know, or behind a man is a strong woman, right? And so like the woman in the Bible, it even says like wisdom. In the Bible, they say they use the word she as wisdom. Like there's a whole, I think it's in like Proverbs or something. But anyways, so there's like there's different things that men and women can like give to each other, like when they are in a relationship, right? And so for me, I'm trying to learn how to respect men and not look at everybody like, you know? And so he gave me that feeling, and I was like, I'll only respect you if you respect me. Like, that's how I feel.
I feel like that should just common in any room.
Right.
Respect.
Right. Yeah. And so I felt disrespected. And so I just was like holding my tongue, and then he came up to me after, and I warned him. I was like, are you sure you want to talk to me? Like, are you sure? Yeah. And he was like, yes, it's fine. Like, you're my sister. And he like, that's how we also get down, is like, he's like a brother to me, you know? And so, you know, and so I went off on him, and then the pastor calls me, and he was like, hey, so, what happened? And I was like, and then I was like, got heated, you know? And the pastor just like laughed at me, and he's like, no, it's okay. Like, what did he say? He said, I'm understanding to your feelings, you know? And that for my pastor, who is a man who I see have a beautiful relationship with his wife, has a beautiful relationship with his kids, cares about everybody in the church, has one-on-one relationships with like each individual at the church. Like, for me to hear that, it was very like confirming. Like, I was just like, okay, there's good men out there, you know what I mean? And you know, and I love like my homie who I went off on, like, you know, it was not a big deal or anything, but for me it was, just because like I haven't been that person in a really long time, and I also don't like to hide behind being a Christian for like what I could have done was not said anything, and I could have just been in submission to him, but my heart didn't feel like that. Yeah, you know? And so I'm still gonna act on my heart, but I feel like as you go and as you're growing, like with your walk with Christ, it's like, as long as you're truly you and you're being real, and you're like still aware of like what the Bible says, and like, but we're human, you know, we're gonna have triggers, we're gonna have traumas, like whatever. Like, I think you can naturally grow where like eventually I don't think I'm going to get as heated as I was because I'm letting myself be real and raw, not only like in general, but like at the church, like at the, like where everybody can see it. My pastor sees it and I own up to it, you know? And like, I'll tell people like, I'm trying to work on my tongue right now, you know, like I'm trying to, you know, and like everybody's like,
should be like a warning though. Like, so don't test me.
Yeah.
I'm working on it, guys. Come on.
But low key, I'm like, do it so I can see how much growth I'm getting, you know?
I only cussed you out 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Progress.
Yeah.
Sure. I feel it because I feel like every day you're tested. And like, that's one of my things. Like, I can never be perfect, nor do I, like, it could be my goal, but I understand, like, I'm human at the end of the day. Like, I'm going to make my mistakes and I'm going to apologize for them and all that. Mm-hmm. What I want to do is just break down everything into like decisions. So like, just make better decisions. Out of 10, go for 7 better decisions. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Just improve a little bit, piece by piece. Like, okay, what would you normally do here? Do the opposite. Mm-hmm. This one, you may have to crash out. You're taking an L there, but you know, the next one,
that's good.
Improve that one. So I'm just like trying to like just slightly tweak instead of being like, no, today I'm going to be perfect because I know I'm not.
Right.
Like something's going to test me, something's going to trigger me, and something's going to make me react. And
right.
But it's just, okay, think it, don't write it.
Right. Wait, can I ask you about like your faith?
Uh-huh.
Like, where do you, like, do you only just go to church or like, do you pray? Do you do the Bible?
I pray every day. So even before, so this is one of the things that me going was just, I wanted to check it out, but I would still pray every day. I just didn't believe in the establishment of church. I didn't believe in like the giving money to the church. I didn't, like, oh, you know, some guy telling me what the Bible says. And I still have like the mentality of like, well, that Bible was written by man. Like, and throughout the years, you're not going to, I don't think there's any way you can convince me that there was not adjustments made to them to favor like whoever was doing it, right? Like, oh, I don't like that. Let me take that out. Or let me just change the words on this part because, you know, then I won't feel bad. Throughout the years, right? To what we have now and the original, there's been edits, right? So I still have that mentality of like, if it was written by man and man lies, there's, you know what I mean? So there's like, there's no way to confirm that that's word for word it's my way of thinking. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's what it is, chill. It's just, that's how I think. So it's always been like, I don't want to deal with the church. I don't want to deal with like pastors. I don't want to deal with like the Bible says and stuff like that. I do have my relationship with God before. It was like, I pray every day and, you know, I believe in God and all that. But just one day I was like, let me go. Let me see what, because I kept having, and I said that on the episode, I kept having guests after guests that were talking about going to church, and I was like, bro, what is it? Like, and they're like, my life changed, like, you know, like I was doing this, now I'm, you know, in a better path. And I was like, after so many years, you get curious to be like, all right, well,
right,
let me go check it out. Wait,
so do you feel like you don't want to read the Bible because of that?
No. So I go to church because it's like, if I hand you a physics book and tell you like, here, understand this, you're going to be like, isn't there why there's teachers for it? Uh-huh. That's why I go to church. So that somebody can tell me how to understand these scriptures.
Right.
And the pastor does an amazing job, which I love going there because
it's Pastor TJ, right?
TJ, yeah. So like he'll put the thing up and then he like explains like what's happening, and his way of doing it is very understandable, and like I'm like, oh, okay, nah, I understand now. Like, but if you would have just gave me that scripture, I would have been like,
I feel you.
Okay, sick at like the language is a little, you know what I mean? Right. So, but then he understands it. So he's like the teacher is how I see it.
Right.
And he's teaching me how to like understand these scriptures.
Right.
And I enjoy that. But I didn't go because, and like I've said before, like I didn't go because I had like a problem or I didn't feel like I was.
Right. You just felt called to go.
I didn't feel like I was out of path with God. I just wanted to go because I was curious.
But do you read the Bible like on your own? Okay.
I have one.
Yeah.
And I don't. It's the same thing like, where do I begin? But
I feel you.
I've seen the ones that are like smaller and they're like, just go by the day.
Oh, yeah. So it's in Proverbs. So there's 31 I believe, Proverbs, and then you read one proverb a day. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I could probably do that. Like today's Monday, boom, or today's the first, whatever. I don't know when the order comes in. I just haven't gotten there yet. But
yeah, so it's if today's the 12th, then you read Proverbs 12, right? But I think a lot of people, for me, I kind of like you know how people say like ignorance is bliss, you know what I mean? So there's certain things, because I am an overthinker, where I don't want to think too much into depth about something, like, especially what I usually think a lot of into depth about like just like my life, or like just super curious, and like, talking to your friends about, like, you have like these deep conversations, And so for me, like, one of the things when it comes to like God is like, because people are like, one of like a mainstream question is like, well, how do you know God is real? Right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to think about that. I just don't, You just
want to go with
I just like I want to have faith.
Yes, he does that. I have faith that he exists.
Like I don't need to see science or reasoning, or like, that's just how I roll, right? And then like another thing is like the Bible, right? And there's like, I forget, like, I think it was first written in Arabic or Hebrew, but I know that a lot of people like translate the words to Hebrew. Anyways, that's a lot for me, okay? And so I know people who have had that question of like, well, it was created by man and it's altered and da-da-da-da. For me personally, I don't like to think about it. Oh, no, but Pastor O, he'll tell you all about it. I promise you. Like, if you call him up and you're like, hey, like, if that's going to be one of the questions to have answered, to kind of lead you to opening the Bible, like, I would ask even Pastor TJ that question, I
don't think that's what's holding me. I feel like the book is overwhelming.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I read a lot of books, and so it's like, I look at it, I'm like, dude, that's just intimidating. It's like if somebody gave me a Harry Potter book, like, they're big.
Right.
I'm like, oh no, it's just off the rip. I'm like,
right. Wait, do you have your Bible here?
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay, yeah. So this is the King James version.
Did I get the Supreme version? Like, I don't know.
This is for me. This is hard to read.
It's hard to read.
Yeah. Okay. For me, it is. So there's one that's like the.
I'm gonna get with like no disrespect intended, but like the Bible for Dummies type.
No, so
give me like the footnotes is what I want.
Okay, first of all, get the New Living Translation, the NLT. Okay, so that is like the most simplified. Okay, and then
like the easy to read version.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still God's word. You know what I mean? Like, it just takes out like the thou, like, you know what I mean?
So that, and like, I understand what you're saying, but that's like the other thing, right? Like, so like, this is too hard to read. Now imagine they're real, like the
the
OG, course. Right? Like,
that's crazy, right?
But it's like, we're gonna take this out because it makes it confusing, and it got to this. Then I got to this, and they're like, it's still like a little confusing, guys. We're gonna like switch out some words just to make it easy to read. Right. And it's like, we're like,
but you have to remember
cutting it down to like,
I don't think things are being taken out. I think that the translation is changing, but you have to remember that God knew this was gonna happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like back in the day, I didn't read it myself, but the pastor talked about it in a Bible study where it was like, people were dying over like preserving the Bible, right? And it sounds crazy. Like, have you seen Chosen?
The movie? No,
it's a TV show, but you should watch it because it's basically about the gospel. Okay, and it puts it into like a visual context. Like, that's how I first started. When I didn't know where to start in the Bible, so I watched Chosen. It was like a super hype TV show. Like when I started watching it. And then I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So then when I was watching The Chosen, I was reading the Gospels, and then I saw like it all like line up. And I was like, this is cool, Because then it gave me like a visual, right? And so then I'm thinking like, okay, so back in the day, they had like these things that they're writing on, and then how did they put it all together? And, and then I just was like, I'm not going to think about that because... like, God knows what he's doing, and he knows that we were going to have this translation, right? And, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that, you know, for me, reading my Bible more than not reading my Bible, no matter what the translation is or whatever.
If you get a 30-minute workout, it's a workout instead of not working
exactly
out. Right.
You know, and you can also like chat GBT, like, what does this mean? You know,
I've actually done that, like,
yeah,
or not that, but the opposite. Like, this is what I'm feeling.
Like, what are verses?
Is there a verse that relates to this?
Yeah.
And I'll pull it up and I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. Like reverse, right? Like, instead of me digging through a book,
right?
I'm just like using tools to be like, what page is that on, bro?
Right. But I tell you, there's something special, literally, about opening
the Bible?
Your Bible. Like, it's crazy. Like, I set out, I'm not a morning person. Like, I've tried so many times to like go to bed early, and then I'll go to bed early and then I still wake up late. Like, I don't know how it happens, but anyways, I've been setting out time to read my Bible recently, like in the morning and at the night, and it's almost like it just like lightens my day up, you know, because I think that like when you're reading it straight from, like, this is God's word, this is like a blueprint. I think there's like this acronym for Bible where it's like basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Oh, I like that.
It's Bible. Yeah. And so so for me, it's like, okay, God, like, and at the end of the day, like, when you read it, it's like there's all these stories and there's all these like lessons, and they all come together of like kind of like being like Jesus. Like, that's the whole point, is like, how can I be like Jesus? Okay, well, if I don't know Jesus, then how can I be like him, right? If I don't know Jesus, then how do I know how he loves me, right? And then there's like, for me, for instance, like, I don't have a relationship with my Father, and so I have replaced that with my Heavenly Father. And so if I don't know God, how do I know like how he's gonna love me and be there for me and heal me and direct me, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it looks a lot more complicated than like it
That's
really
what I'm saying.
is.
Like, it just looks like overwhelming to be like, you crack it open and it's like, we'll try again tomorrow.
Right.
But I also struggle with, because I hear it, right, Pastor TJ or church and the Bible, and like, you should do this is how you should live. Like, if you want to like be that close to God, right, like, do this, live this style, you know, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Where at the same time, I'm like, I just want to live. Like, I feel like there's experiences that I still haven't experienced, and I want to, but they may not align with that life, right? So I struggle with that. And then, sorry, I just want to get this thought out.
Go.
My friend, like one of my best friends, died last year, and he's younger than me, and it was like, it was very rough to experience that, because it's like, bro, we still had so much to do, and now you don't get to do none of it. And like, we can be gone tomorrow. Like, literally, you can, and you probably had like encounters, and we've all had like a moment where like, dude, I could have just died right now. And it's like, and I didn't get to do the things I want to do. Like,
right.
Nah, like I feel like, so that's my struggle.
Right.
It's like this balance of like, yes, I want to get closer to God and read the Bible, but I still want to do some fun things that I know don't align with that lifestyle. So it's just.
Can you give me an example?
Like, I just like to have fun, and sometimes having fun includes drinking, right? Like, or being out late, or I know like the Bible is big on like marriage and stuff like that. Like, I'm married and I love my wife and we're close, and our way of being like in our relationship doesn't align with a lot of people's beliefs or views, and it's often judged.
Are you guys like in an open relationship?
No, not at all.
Oh.
She can go out with her friends and I don't mind. I go out with my friends and no, I don't mind.
Right.
But like, my mom's old school Mexican. She'd be like, you're married, you shouldn't be doing that. And it's like, why? I'm still an individual. I'm still who I am when I met her. This is who she liked when she met me.
Right.
And that's who I liked when I met her. Why would I want to change that? Like, just because we live together and we're married, I still respect her. I don't still want to have my personal time.
You
and,
want your
and
own
space.
identity.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, but when I'm hearing at the church, like, that doesn't align with their idea of marriage and how it should be. Like she should, like you were saying, submit to me. And then I'm like, no, don't do that. Like you're still who you are. I'm not your dad. I'm not.
Well, the thing is though, is like, I feel you, because I was in the same, perspective as you. And first of all, there's, we have free will.
Right.
God gave us free will, you know? And so there's God's will, and then there's our own will, right? And so, you know, the decisions that we make based off of our own will, God gave us the free will to make those decisions. You know what I mean? And so I think that, like, for me, for instance, like, going in my addiction and, you know, crazy things, like, whatever, like, that was me in my own will. That was not God's will. But continuously, like, when I was in my own will, like, I was struggling, like, with something was happening, you know? And so also in the Bible, it doesn't say not to drink. It just says to have a sober mind. And so, like, Pastor O, because people ask him all the time, like, it says not to drink, like, or whatever. And he's like, no, it just says to have a sober mind. He's like, so because it says to have a sober mind, he's like, I don't drink. You know what I mean? But, like, if you're with your wife or whatever and you want to enjoy a glass of wine, it just says, like, to not get blacked out, basically, right, yeah. You know? And so, obviously, I'm not, like, a theologian of the Bible, or, like, I'm not a pastor or anything like that. But from my own understanding and from being somebody who also doesn't feel like I want to submit, I want to have my own identity, I want to be an independent woman, like, all those things, I think what people... they kind of, they look, or they kind of emphasize on, like, they emphasize on the things that people just don't want to do, I guess you can say. So, for instance, like, your wife submitting to you, right? So that doesn't necessarily, like, if you read the Bible yourself, like, you're going to perceive that, and your perspective, like, with where it says what it says, is going to be different than even your pastors or somebody else's. Right. You know what I mean? It's like however God talks to you, you know? And then later down you might read it and it'll mean something different, right? For me, when I read it, and the way that you know, Pastor O explains it too, you know, and don't correct me if I'm wrong, Pastor, but is like, you guys, like, a husband and a wife is like, they're one, right? And so it's not like the husband is above the wife, or the wife is below the husband. It's like both of them come together to make one, but in that process, it's like if you're like, hey, you know, I'm the provider. It says in the Bible that the man should be the provider. And if you're the provider and you're like, hey, like, you know, let's say, like, my job's moving, like, you're going to ask your wife and pray with her and have that permission of being like, okay, we're going to make this move to, you know, make this move. Yeah. But in her submission is like, I'm going to go wherever you're going to go. Okay. You know what I mean? I
don't feel like in that sense of what you're saying, like, that is there, right? Like, I wouldn't be like, hey, yo, we're moving, whether you like it or not. It would be a conversation, like, and then she could be like, well, if it's better for both of us, let's go, right? Right. But it's like the whole, I don't know. I really believe in, like, we are two people who came together, and yeah, we're one, but we're still those individuals. Like,
right. And what's so cool about that is it does also say that in the Bible, because God wants you to put God first. And so when you do put God first, you have your own relationship with God, right? So let's say, like, you and your chick are, like, fighting, right? And then you're like, I don't want to talk about it right now, whatever. And then your go-to as a godly man is to pray about it. And then as her go-to as a godly woman is to pray about it, right? It seems simpler than what it actually could be, you know? But this is just an example, right? And so when you guys both go to the same God that you guys both believe in, naturally there's going to be something that's going to be like, you are like, okay, Lord, I'm praying. Okay, he's going to answer your prayer. She's praying, and then you guys come together and you're like, okay, this is like what God spoke to me, right? And so it does say to, like, have your own identity. I don't think, like, the Bible's going to, like, condemn you of like like going out with your boys or her going out with her girls, you know what I mean? Like that's human nature, you know? But also I think like one of the things that I personally, and this is me speaking of like where I'm at right now in my walk, and like maybe it'll change later, I don't know, but personally I think that like these really harsh judgments that like Christianity brings onto people is the exact reason why people
stay away.
Yeah. You know,
there's been times when there's like been a substitute pastor. I'm like, had this been my first time,
wouldn't come back.
I would have never came back.
Right.
And then some of them are like very sales pitchy because they're like, oh, you know, I got a book. It's only, you know, it's like, what are you here for?
Right.
Are you here to sell? Like, you could have just gone to the Swami, bro, and posted up and sold this. Like,
right.
We're not here for that.
Right.
And so there's times where I'm like, man, had this been the first time, I wouldn't come.
Right.
My other issue is, like those that are like very judgy and like harsh and like, the Bible says, like,
right.
Sometimes y'all be skipping some of that because you choose to ignore. You only want to pay attention to the ones that benefit you and not the ones that.
Right. Just like the submission.
Put the light on you, like, you know what I'm saying? And so that's another thing I don't like. So it's hard to like take it serious when it's like, bro, you're not even.
I'm going to grab this verse for you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
The woman should submit to the man, right? Okay, so this is in Ephesians 5. So hang on. I'm going to pull up the Bible really quick. Because also the reason why it's important for us to read our Bible is because it takes out all of the pastors who you don't know who's real, who's what. Even Pastor O, I love him. I know he's strictly biblical, but I still go into my Bible and like fact check him.
Yeah, like hell no.
Yeah, like, and it's not because like I don't trust him or anything like that. It's solely because like I want to have my own relationship with the Lord, and because of that, I want to.
But even like no disrespect to him or anything, like, but even like, so like growing up, my mom was like huge on this. She's like, you should trust nobody but God, not even me, your own mother. Trust God, only trust God.
Yeah.
Because there's people who have like their intentions and their motivations and their agendas, right? So she's always been like, don't trust nobody but God.
Right.
And so even you were saying like, well, I'm going to go double check that. It should be fine because like, he's not God, right? And
yeah,
like,
exactly.
There's only one I trust. I'm sorry. It's like, no offense to him or no offense to like anybody. If I don't trust you, it's just, I just don't trust you. Like,
right. No, but that's why like, when you say like, you go to your pastor, he's speaking these bullet points and they're making sense and and then that's why like
you're saying it's important to like just still go and like do the reading yourself.
Yeah, you know. Okay, so it says this part of the Bible is in Ephesians and it says spirit guided relationships, wives and husbands. So this is the NLT version, okay? And further submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. For wives, this means submit to your husbands as to the Lord. For a husband is the head of his wife as Christ is the head of the church. He is the savior of his body, the church. As the church submits to Christ, so you wives should submit to your husbands in everything. For husbands, this means love your wives. Just as Christ loved the church, he gave up his life for her to make her holy and clean. Her as in the church, okay? Because the church is like feminine. Okay, well, and the church, and it's fun fact though is like we're supposed to be like brides to Jesus. So we're the church, and then there's Jesus, if that makes sense. Okay, so he gave up his life for her to make her holy and clean, washed by the cleansing of God's word. He did this to present her to himself as a glorious church without a spot or a wrinkle or any other blemish. Instead, she will be holy and without fault. In the same way, husbands ought to love their wives as they love their own bodies. For a man who loves his wife actually shows love for himself. No one hates his own body but feeds and cares for it, just as Christ cares for the church, and we are members of his body. And so then at the end it says, as the scriptures say, a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife, and the two are united into one. This is a great mystery, but is an illustration of the way Christ and the church are one. So again, I say each man must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
And so it's like, you have to think about it though, as like a woman being feminine, right? if you're submitting to me or whatever, like, I need the love. I need, like, you to just, like, love on me. Like, I do no wrong. Like, you know what I mean? And then it's like, as a man, like, you know, sometimes, like, women who, like, be all over their men and don't give them space, like, that's too much. You know what I mean?
I feel like moderation in anything, whether it be, like, consumption or relationships,
right,
should be, like, a thing. Like,
right.
Because if you do too much, you're doing too much.
Right. But as a man, like, being masculine, like, the word is going to be submit because, like, it's out of, like, respect. Like, I'm not going to be like,
It'd be like
I would be right now if I had a man. You know what I mean? Because I'm still learning that, you know, but.
God's working on all of us.
Was that easy to read, though?
I understood exactly what you,
right.
Like, as you read it, I was understanding what you're saying.
Right. NLT version.
NLT.
Period. Shout
out to the person who gave me this. You gave me the wrong one.
Bible. Come on. I'm going to mail you one to your house, straight up.
Like, oh, all right. No, and I don't know if it was like my mom. She's like, Bible should only be given as a gift. Like, you shouldn't buy like I don't know that or rosaries. One of the two.
Right.
Because I grew up Catholic. So,
okay.
And I still like believe in, I still me persino and the Virgin Mary and all that. Like,
right.
So it's like, I go there because he's like the teacher and I'm trying to understand like what's in here, but I'm not like fully committed to like, I don't want a title.
Right.
I don't want to be considered a Christian, a Catholic.
Right.
Like, I'm just
That's
like,
okay though.
I'm in my own lane, bro. Like, I'm here for God. Like, don't give me no titles. Don't judge me for what I believe
Pastor O on here next.
I tried to get him on here. He's ducking and diving me.
We'll get him.
Yeah. So
but I think that'll be a cool conversation for you to have with him.
I had one guy come on here, and I think he was, you know, when somebody's new to something, they're just like overly excited to talk about it, but they're not really fully educated in the subject. And so there's like holes in what they're saying.
Right.
And so he came on here very like gun ho, like, you know, Christian this, Christian that, the Bible, blah, blah, blah. And like, it got to the point where I was like, I got to push back. Because I feel like some of the stuff ain't like making sense. So I got to like give a little pushback. Nothing like aggressive or anything like that. But
right.
He was just like, you know, if you don't believe in God, you're going to hell. And I was like, well.
And that's the thing is.
Like if people, like if you genuinely don't believe in that, like you don't believe in God, like I'm not saying you like don't do that or whatever, but if you don't, then you don't believe in everything that comes with that, right? So you don't believe in heaven and hell. You think when you die, you just put in the ground and it's done. And he was like, no, they're going to go to hell. I was like, you're trying to convince somebody who doesn't believe in that's where they're going. Like,
right. No.
That's like the worst way to convince them to like come check out the church.
Right. I mean, I did I worked at a camp that was like a Jewish camp. For one of the kids that I work with who's special needs. And I was like super interested and curious like into Judaism, you know, because that's like the first or most of the Bible, you know, is for the Jews, right? And so anyways, I was reading the Old Testament at that time, and I had this rabbi. It was my last day there. I kept running into him, and then he saw me like reading my Bible, and he came and sat down next to me, and I didn't know he was a rabbi. And so I was asking him like questions, and then I had like different conversations with like other, you know, employees at the camp and whatever. And one of the things that was like a common theme was that Christians try to convert people to Christianity. And the way that they identify a Christian is those people who stand on the sidewalk with that sign with the blowhorn or whatever, the speaker being like, if you don't believe, you're going to hell, you know? Jewish people, like, they don't even believe in hell. Like, literally, you know? That's what the rabbi told me. Like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the rabbi told me that. Yeah, you know?
Rabbis in the comments.
Yeah. And so, you know, so I think that just like anything else, like, first of all, we're human beings. You know, second of all, God gave us our own will, like, to do what we want, to be happy, to like enjoy things, to like have to enjoy pleasure. You know what I mean? And, you know, maybe like what you don't understand today, just like me, like I didn't understand a whole bunch of the stuff I'm talking about, you know, like a year ago. I just got baptized a year ago, literally, you know? Now I do understand, you know? And so I think that it just takes time of just like, you know, and we grow and like change and like, you know, me being celibate is crazy. Like literally, it's crazy. Like for real. Sometimes
so your real ones are like.
Yeah, they're like, okay. What, girl? You're lying, you know? Even my homeboys from the past, like, who try to get at me, I'm like, I'm celibate. Stay away. And they're like, I know you from the street. And I'm like, okay, I'm not that person anymore, you know? And I still have, like, the lust and, like, the tendencies to be, like, I'll be, like, catching myself twerking. I'm like, wait a second.
Oh, yeah. Twerking for the Lord. Hold on,
right, you know? And so, anyways, it makes me sad when there's like those kinds of people who are like, you know, you're going to go to hell, like, or, you know, whatever, you know. I think that everybody's journey with God comes at their own pace. And for some people, like, it hits harder than others. You know, for me, I was at rock bottom and I didn't have anything else but to go to God, you know. And then when I turned my life over to God is the only time I saw my life like go up. And that's like because there's things like called like a lukewarm Christian, you know, where
which
you're like,
I would say like I'm not even there,
right?
Like I'm not even cold Luke. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I've heard that term before from people that come in here and I was like educated on it. I was like, I didn't know because there's the ones that like want to halfway in, halfway out. How like. Yeah, I want to go to church, but I'm going to still go to the club on Saturday.
Yeah, you know, and I was like that, you know. And even me, like, I've seen mediums, I've seen psychics, like, all of that is like, you know, you're not supposed to do that, you know. So for me, like, I have to have it black and white, where, like, now I'm just going to submit to the Bible because if it says not to do that, I'm not going to do that. Because when I was going off of my own understanding and my own free will, like, it just wasn't working for me. And that's my personal journey,
right.
You know?
Because everybody's different. So
right. Exactly.
Your free will
looks different
like
than other people's.
You may have gone to extreme, right? Exactly. Where someone's like, well, I know I can do that, but I don't want to do that.
Right.
Like, so everybody's free will and how they think and process things is different. So
yeah. And now my extreme is this, you know? Right. I'm cool with that. You know, like,
always better this than the alternatives. So.
Right. And for me, like, people, like, I have homies who are like, you're square now. I'm like, yep, I'm square. Like, I'm going to own it, you know, because, you know, and I did want to, you said something and I wanted to, like, mention that in my personal experience, when I had goals and I had visions and I was doing the vision boards and I was doing, like, the affirmations, the manifestation, whatever, all of that stuff worked. Like, whatever I was visioning or putting on my vision board, it came to life. It came true. And it was super dope. I was like, whatever, you know? And I don't knock that down because I think, like, people setting goals and trying to be, like, a better version of themselves is, like, beautiful, you know? But when I decided to just be like, hey, God, whatever you want is what I want. That's it. I just want what you want. I don't care what I want. Whatever. Then it was like, I thought I was going to be a yoga teacher, and it was like, no, you're actually going to be a movement coach for people with special needs, and it's going to be dedicated to your brother. That was not even a vision or a goal that I even had. It just happened. And so I feel like sometimes now, like when I'm walking with God, it's like things and dreams and goals happen that I can't even imagine. And it's solely because of God, you know? So.
I feel that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I've been giving into more of like praying for things. And like there's like the specific more recent one where I was praying. I was like praying like I think a lot of people are like praying for something. I was praying for like the end of something. And like literally like 2 days later. And I was like, because I was like, if it's not meant for me, remove it.
Yes.
If it's not meant for me.
Best prayer ever.
I don't want it. Just remove it. Like, I don't want to fight for it. I don't want to work for it. If it's just not meant for me, take it out of my hands. And like, done. And it was kind of like eye-opening. I was like, damn, okay. Because sometimes you have those moments where you pray for things, but it's like, what are you praying for?
Right.
And I'm a firm believer that, I'm like, God, let me get $1 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to get an opportunity that will somehow lead me to that. Right? So I understand that it's not like word for word, right?
Right.
But I'm big on that now. Like, I want to just pray about it. Like, hey, whatever you got for me, I'm going to just take it. If it's an L, I'll take my, like I've taken so many L's already. Like, what's one more, right? Like if it's a lesson that I'm gonna give from it, bet I'll lose money for the lesson.
Yeah.
So I'm just big on that now, but I'm still just trying to balance, like, and that's probably the problem. It's like, don't balance, just go all in. But I still.
I mean, if you're not ready and you still have like confusion, that's the thing is God doesn't bring confusion, right? And so if you feel confused, then it's probably not from God. But it's important to follow through with your confusion so you can get so you can get clarity and you can get like a new perspective and then decide like if that perspective is gonna work for you or not.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think I'm confused. I don't know why, but my boy's death really like affected me. And I lost my homie, like I miss him and we had good times. On a deeper level of like, I can literally die tomorrow. And like things with my family right now is kind of like, I can really go tomorrow. Am I going to be happy? Am I going to be content? Like if I'm in my deathbed right now, am I going to be like, nah, I lived a good life, or like, damn, I should have done more things. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. I'm really struggling with that. It's like, I want to live, but I want to live righteous, but I still want to live.
Yeah, but
so I have like this quote that I actually have on the bio. It says, die with memories, not dreams. Like, I'd rather go with these memories of like, yo, I did this. I experienced this. I experienced that, instead of being like, damn, I should have done that. Why didn't I do it? Like, because I gave in to like, not gave in, but like I submitted and started like following what I should have, like what the Bible says I should have done. But then I didn't get to. So this is like this weird like internal battle that I have. It's like my own personal battle, right? Like how I couldn't relate to what you're going.
You know why? Because when I was getting clean and sober, I was like, is this going to be my life? Like the rest of my life? Like I can't have a drink. I'm going to have to go to meetings. Like I'm going to have a sponsor and work the steps for the rest of my life. Like that was crazy. Like for me admitting that I was an addict and that I had to fully go in.
Right.
Like what? I can't go out and drink with my family. Like I can't go out and like have those like fun nights where you're just like, you know, and that was like hard for me to accept, you know what I mean? And so, but I think just like, and mind you, like when I tell you this stuff, like it's not because I'm like trying to change your perspective or whatever.
She's trying to convert me.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, it's because I think that sometimes like what I said earlier is like what we think we can do has like a cap on it. When you might be like, okay, these memories that I don't want to miss out on, drinking, whatever. God never said.
My fault. And it's
okay.
That's not what I meant. But like just things that staying up late, going out, like it doesn't necessarily mean like I'm under the influence or anything. It's just I want to do things that are probably not good with like this way of living.
Well, let me tell you. Also, it says to come as you are. You're not supposed to become refined into, just like what you said at the beginning about your homie who was like, the broken people come to church. Right. You know what I mean? So God doesn't want you already new. He makes you new naturally by getting to know him, but you can still do whatever you want. I was still having sex. I was still, like, you know, dressing like however I wanted to. I was still doing all of those things when I was finding the Lord. And then because I got closer to him, it was my will that wanted to follow God's will to decide to like change. But me getting to know God, like I was like, God loves me no matter what. He's going to forgive me no matter what. So if that means that I get close to him, but I still dress like this, I'm still using my body like this, like whatever, like the church wants to judge me, cool. I don't care. Like God's the only one who can judge me. You know what I mean? And so, but sometimes like, you know, you never know, like you don't know if like maybe the night that you want to go out and kick it and whatever, and you think that like God doesn't want you to do that. Like you don't know if maybe like with you walking with God, that could have turned into like you going to a different country and like, and you're going out and you're having a good time. And that's because like whatever you see is like God sees even more. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but I feel you, like I still have that battle today. Like my mind was wanting to relapse like right around my 3 years, like 2 weeks ago or last week or whatever.
Like a little reward. Like, treat yourself.
Almost, but also I was like pissed and I was depressed, and like in the Bible it says don't have anxiety, don't be this, don't be that, but it's telling you to do that so that you can give it to God. It's not saying like it's not gonna happen, but it's like when you're in the midst of it, it's like, okay, God, like I need to give this to you. You know what I mean?
Take this, handle that, please.
Yeah, and it sounds funny, you know, and it sounds like sometimes I'll be like, okay, God, I'm sad right now, take it from me, you know, and then I'm like sitting there, I'm like, what's happening? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and that's where I started, and then like soon that transitioned into like, God, I want to hear you right now, and that transitioned into like, okay, I'm praying and now I'm crying. Like, I don't cry, like this is weird, this is crazy, you know. And so but what I really love is like how open you are to like just being like, cool, like I'm gonna be myself, I want to get to know God, I'm gonna go to church. And I think all of those things are like, you know, I think even just people having a higher power, you know, like in the rooms of recovery, that's what we say, is just find a higher power, you know. Your God doesn't have to be my God, but this is what works for me. You know what I mean? And so like I have friends who don't believe in Jesus, and that's okay, but whatever they believe in, like if it works for them and it makes them happy and like
better,
then that's okay, you know. There was a point, like I said, like I was meditating and doing witchcraft and whatever, and it just led me to Jesus, you know.
Yeah, actually I just came back from Mexico. I went to go visit I went on like a solo trip to go visit my family. Like going with my wife, it's funny because everybody's like, yo, where's you? Y'all good? Like, y'all fighting? Like, where she? I was like, bro, chill out. Like, she paid for me to come out here. Like,
you're like,
I told her, I was like, damn, I miss my cousins. Like, they're like my brothers. And I was like, I haven't chilled with them. Like, I just want to chill with them. Like, nothing. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to hang out with my cousins. She's like, when do you want to go? And she bought me the ticket. So I went, and they were like, yo, you good? Whatever. And then I was telling my cousin, because we went and got these, like, beers at the Tianguis, like a swap meet. It's huge. And I was like, man, I want to go back. That shit was fire. I want to go back. And I was telling one of my cousins, he's like, nah, I can't. I was like, what you mean? Like, he's the drinker of the family. He's like, because if I have one, I won't stop till 7 a.m. I was like, you can't go and have one beer, bro. Like, it's the understanding, right? Like, I can't relate to like how your addictions and all that. Like, because in my head, I was like, I can have one and
be fine.
Call it a day. Like, I got it out of my system. We're good. He's like, no, man. He was like, you don't understand.
Yep.
I will keep drinking until like 7 a.m. Until like I'm passed out. And I couldn't understand. I was like, bro, it's one beer. He's like, you don't get it. And all his brothers are like, you don't get it, bro. Like, he can't stop. He has one sip and it's like, the whole day is ruined because he's going to be out drinking.
Right.
And it was like hard for me to understand. I'm like, nah, bro, like you can have one beer. We could call it, go get some food and then we're done. He's like, nah, cuzzo. Not happening.
Yeah.
But it's hard to understand everybody's different like temptations or addictions, and like they don't understand my shoe addiction. They're like, bro, what do you need so many shoes for? I was like, I don't know, I just trauma, like childhood trauma, like I have to have them. And he's like, no, you don't. But so we just like different things that we're addicted to. And it's hard to understand everybody's.
I mean, I get you on the shoes because me too.
Shoe game. That's the first thing I noticed when you walked up. I was like, all right, shoe game, all right.
Right.
I look at that first before I make eye contact most of the time.
I know. I always look at the shoes too. I saw your slides. I was like, just kidding.
It's funny because I'm home, right? So like,
no, I got you.
Slides,
I was just kidding.
There's been people in the comments like, can you put some shoes on? So for like a good like 6-7 months, I was like switching up, putting on different shoes and stuff, just because.
I'm like, where's your shoe game at?
I know,
little shoe addict.
But like people who have a shoe game, and you could probably attest to this, we wear like the same 3 pairs. We can have a ton. We're gonna wear like the same ones that are like the closest ones. These were by the door, so.
I know, right? So, or I'll just wear them like once, and then like I don't see them for a long time.
They get lost in the rotation.
Exactly.
Just the other day, I put on some shoes. I was like, oh, I'm gonna rock these, and I took a couple steps, and the sole came off.
Dang.
And my girl was like, "This is what you get if we don't wear them." And I was like, "Facts. I need to wear my shoes more."
That's a true shoe addict, homie.
And I was like, damn, actually these up here, they're all separated. So I can't.
What?
Yeah. That's not one. They're old.
Oh, I see the separation right there.
Yeah, all of those up there are separate. There's more in here. There's more in the room.
Dang.
They just cooked. I can't wear them anymore, so I just put them up for this decoration. What am I gonna do? Throw them away? No. That hurts.
Yeah, for real.
I can't do that.
Especially if you never worn them too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like those white ones, I probably wore them 4 times total. Dang. And they separated me. We went to go eat, and while I was walking, I was like, man, what did I step on? My foot was like slapping out of the shoe.
No,
like,
that's sad.
I was like, babe, we gotta go home.
That puts it in perspective. I'm like, okay, I definitely need to wear my shoes.
Yeah, facts.
At least once. You know what I mean?
Get a good little pick in them before they're cooked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like my mom's manifestation. She's like, you're not gonna wear them; they're gonna fall apart. Like, Ma, you don't even know what you. My mom has power though. Let me tell you. I've had 2 experiences, and she didn't wish them upon me, but she brought them to existence.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
I played football my whole life. I love football. I'd go and play pickup games. And like as I got older, my mom was like, what are you doing? I was like, it's Thanksgiving. I got to go play football. It's like Mando. I got to play. I don't eat unless I play football. She said, you're going to get hurt. You're too old for that. Stop. I was like, Mom, what you don't know nothing, Mom. I had to call her from the fucking hospital because I dislocated my knee. So ambulance had to come get me, and they had to pop the knee back into place. And I was like, Mom, why would you tell me that?
Right.
On the like,
you'd be like, Mom, you're gonna become an NFL player.
You couldn't like good luck, have fun.
Right.
You got to tell me like as I'm leaving, like you're gonna hurt yourself. Boom, hurt myself.
That's crazy.
And then the other time I was going to TJ, she's like, I don't want you to go to TJ. I was like, man, like you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna do whatever I want. Like, she's like, no, I have a bad feeling something's gonna happen. Like, Mom, why would you say that? Like, I'm just gonna go have fun with my friends. Like, there's a lot of us. I'll be good. Nah, don't go. I don't want you to go. I went and I got jumped. Dislocated my foot. My whole foot turned all the way around.
Oh my gosh, you better listen to your mom.
And so then I had to call her again. And I was like, yeah, I'm at the hospital. I was like, Mom, why would you say that? Just
see God speaking through her.
For real. I'm like, you need to stop. And now the shoes. She hit the trifecta. Speaking all her words to existence. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
She has a power of, I need you to wish better things on me, Mom.
Yeah.
Instead of getting hurt. Because that's not fun.
Right.
We all are on a journey, and that's why I asked you to come on, because I started seeing your content, and I was like, oh, damn, like, I low-key want to have a conversation.
Yeah, I love this. This was cool. Thank you for having me.
I want to have a conversation about
here.
this and take your input, and because I see your content, and I think I added you because, did you model?
Oh, no, I did like, was it through Michelle?
Yeah.
Yeah. She did my makeup for my podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I was like, oh, because I'm a photographer. I was like, oh, maybe I can reach out one day and be like, want to collab on a photo shoot or something.
Yeah. And
then I started watching your content. I was like, oh, wait, like, I'm kind of in this space right now too. Like, I would love to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I wish you would have asked me, because I would have been like, no, it's not about toxic. And I was actually going to tell you, I was like, please don't judge what I post, because I just find that thing like amusing. To me, it's like, I giggle when I post that stuff because it's like funny.
Right. I was watching cause I was trying to see the vibe, and I was like going through it, and I see like the little, like the captions, and I was like, oh my God. I thought it was so funny too, you know? Yeah. And I used to live, that's what I'm saying. I was like, man, when I heard that it was like a toxic vibe, I was like, I'm not a toxic person. Well, I already told you my one toxic trait. Probably more, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't really like to, like talk about it or emphasize on that kind of stuff anymore. Or
like glamorize it.
Yeah, that's the word, is glamorize on it. You know? That's just personally for me.
Oh yeah, and of course.
So I was like, let me just make this like 45 minutes, you know? Because I was like, I'm not going to tell my whole story, you know? But I really enjoy like our conversation.
No, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I like that. And it kind of bounced a little bit. My little ADHD sometimes.
Me too.
It bounces from one combo to another.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my homegirl, shout out to my homegirl, about that. I was like, bro, I hate it. Because sometimes I was late to work the other day, and I had my camera on the table. Like, let me just put it in here. And I got it in here, and I was like, put it away. So in my head, I'm like, bro, you're already running late.
Right.
And I'm here cleaning the lens, taking out the memory card, knowing that I'm late, but because I can't control that, of like, you already started this task, finish it.
Right.
Or sometimes I'm in here, and then I'm like, what is that? Dust? Let me go get the vacuum. And now I'm doing the whole apartment.
Okay, that sounds like OCD. Okay. For me, I'm like, if I can't finish it, it's just gonna
bug you.
It's gonna be crazy. It will bug me once I get home and I'm like, why didn't I finish that? But for me, I'm like, okay, I have to prioritize being on time. That's my thing because I'm like really bad at that. Yeah,
I'm horrible at
right. And so I try my best. And so then like if I'm like, okay, do the laundry, like fold the laundry, I'll do the first step. I'll put it from the dryer to the couch. And then if I don't have enough time to fully fold everything,
so you're not going to start it?
No, I can't.
And be like, I'll get to that later.
No, I can't. I have to fully do it.
But then it's sitting there for like 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't have the time.
Because I'm like, I'm tired from work, go to sleep, wake up. Yeah.
That's dope. So you teach specific only for like this...
special needs?
Special needs?
Is
that disabled or only special needs? Because maybe I'm... no,
that's fine.
Special needs is, I'm thinking mental, and like disability is like physical.
Right. Yeah, so
Am
it
I
goes
wrong?
all under the same category.
Okay. So anybody who like, whether has like a physical disability, you help?
Yeah.
Or like a mental disability? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So my cousin would have been perfect.
Yeah.
To come see you.
Yeah. So, I don't only... it's not just for special needs and disabilities, but that is like my focused clientele. Yeah, just because that's like where I get the I don't know, that's just like where my heart is at, honestly.
I feel it.
Like it's crazy though. Like my life today, like with doing that and like my spot, like bro, Clea. Shout out to Clea.
Shout out, you said her name a couple times.
I know.
I always say when people say like shout out to them, I'm like, hey, shout out.
Yeah, for real.
I want to acknowledge them because they got brought up.
Yeah, because she owns Sober Livings, and so she does like interior for all of her Sober Livings. They're super sick.
Sober Living, is that like
it's a home for people who
are in recovery or
who want to stay sober. They're working a program. Sober Livings bring like more structure, so like to make your bed, you have a chore that you have to do, like getting you more like civilized, pretty much.
You have TikTok?
Yeah.
Did you watch like this one dude came on and like I don't even know how he came up on my thing, but he said he was gonna do crack every day until he became addicted.
Oh, I've seen that.
To then prove that he can quit it.
Right.
Like
I've seen that
because I guess his thing is like people aren't really
don't have addiction. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I didn't actually see the follow up.
Yeah, stuff like that. And I say, don't play with the devil.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when my wife said something yesterday. She's like, oh, like, I got hurt or something. And I was like, hey, take that back. Don't play with the devil.
Yeah, for real.
Don't bring that.
No.
Into like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even like, everybody lies, right? We say little fibs, whatever. There's rules for me. I'll never say I'm sick. I'll never say somebody in my family's sick. I'll never say I lost somebody. I'll never say like, oh, I got a flat tire. There's certain things that I don't want to play with because then I think I'll bring them to existence, and then they don't believe me because you just said that like 2 weeks ago. Now again,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So there's some things that I just don't play with.
That's good.
And my mom was always no juegues con el diablo. Don't play with the devil.
Right. No, that's good.
Kind of big on that. Like, so when people say stuff, I'm like, don't do that. Don't
like, back up.
Don't call him to the forefront, you know what I mean?
Right.
Even where the fuck he is. So.
Right. But what I was saying about Clea is she decorated my whole spot.
Oh, that's what's up.
So it's sick because like I come from Sober Livings and like a mattress on the floor, you know what I mean? And so this is like my first spot like where it's actually like a home. You know what I mean? And I have like a cheetah couch. I got like it's sick, And so anyways, yeah, I don't know why I was telling you that, but yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Took a bounce, yeah. Yeah, you had said earlier, I don't like if it's insensitive or you don't want to talk about it. I know you said you were from Seattle and you were addicted to like drugs or whatever. Mm-hmm. Not whatever, but you said you also danced. Like you were living that whole lifestyle?
Okay, so when I said I danced, I meant like I was actually a dancer. Like, see, not a stripper.
That's what I thought.
Right.
And that's probably by fault correlating the two of like drugs. Right. Is like,
I did work at a strip club before, but I was a waitress, and which is so crazy because when I was working as a waitress, it was like amateur night, and so I went up there and I won. And I came home with like freaking $1,500 and in one night, and I was like, I remember like sitting there, and I was like super high. I was at like after whatever. I had my backpack was just like full of ones, and I just like was sitting there, and I was like, man, like I could really do this, you know? But my mom was a stripper at one point, and so I had this like weird moment where I was like, I don't want to like repeat like doing that, you know what I mean? So I was like, I either need to dedicate myself to this life or I need to get out of here. And so within like 3 days, I packed up all my stuff in my car, and I like left what I couldn't, and then I drove to San Diego. And then my best friend, who I've known since I was like in 6th grade, she lives here, and her mom's in recovery. And so so that's why I was like, okay, let me come out here. And then I was like, okay, I'll use this money. And then I got an Airbnb in TJ for like $200. And then my plan was that I was going to live in TJ at the Airbnb.
Work here.
For a month, yeah. And then cross work, and then save up money. Well, when I was in TJ, I actually got raped. And yeah. And so then I showed up to my best friend's spot, and she was like, I don't know, like what to do, you know? And so then she's like, you need to go see my mom. And so then that night, she just happened to be doing like a book study with her sponsee sisters. And I just sat there and I listened, and I related to like everything. And then like long story short, I kept like relapsing. I wasn't in TJ. She was like, you're not going back there. You're going to live at my house. And she's like, and you'll find a job. And then I was in sales. I was in sales for like most of my life. Like, yeah, like since I was like 19 until like even this recent I've relapsed like many times, but this recent run, before this recent like me getting clean is then when I just like decided to be a nanny and like switch to working with kids. But before that, I was like only in sales. And so I kept relapsing because like they have like Coke and Molly and whatever on the low, like. And so then she was like, you're done working, I'm gonna put you in a sober living. So she paid for me to be in a sober living for 3 months. And then I was just like just crazy. I was like always yelling at the manager, always trying to fight somebody, like just. But
that's probably what, like the withdrawal or something.
No, I was just angry. Yeah, and I was just like, I didn't go to rehab at that time, so I didn't have like the tools from rehab. I just went straight to a sober living, and so then I was on a behavioral contract, and then I went home. And I remember like flying home back from Seattle, and I like was like, I'm gonna fully dedicate myself to the program. I get home, I get to the sober living, and I pee dirty for opiates. And I was like, what? Like opiates isn't even my drug of choice. Like I'm a upper, like weaker, you know? And then I told my house manager, who was my homegirl, and I was like, bro, like I promise. And she was like, did you eat something? And I was like thinking about it. And I didn't know at the time, but I had 2 poppy seed bagels, and I didn't know that like could show up on a test. Mm-hmm. And so then I got kicked out. And then, which is crazy because I just happened to have, so my car got like repoed. And then I was like taking the trolley and stuff. And then a week before I got kicked out, I got a check in the mail for like $6,000. And it was like restitution money from when I was 18. And I was like selling some stuff. I got robbed. And then I like put my hand in the in their door, and they rolled down the window, and I was like literally being dragged like in Santa Monica, like on Pico, like by the car. And then I woke up in the hospital, and I had like road bloody, nasty, like concussion. My ankle was broken. And so then they did an investigation, and what's so funny is it was over a like Illadelph bong that was like super expensive. Like, yeah, that's all that I almost died over an Illadelph bong. Like, so dumb.
Looking back at it, you're like, what are we doing?
Like, bro, you know, but I was like, nobody can touch my stuff, you know? And so Anyways, now look at me. All my stuff got freaking jacked 2 days ago. But anyways, so then they got charged with attempted murder with a deadly weapon. But they had money, so they didn't have to go to jail. They just had to pay. And so I was moving around all the time in my addiction. So then they finally found me. So that's how I got the check. And so then Clea, she hooked me up with somebody to get a car. And so I was like, got a car. And so then when I got kicked out, I was like, forget it. Packed up. I had like a little 2-seater 350Z. Packed it up as much as I could, and I drove to LA, and I was living out of my car for a little bit. And then I found like a meeting that had this sign where it was like insurance can pay for your sober living. 'Cause I was like broke. And so I was like, all right, cool. And then I was sober there for a little bit until, and then it was crazy. I like relived like what I like I relived my life all over again when it comes to like DV, rape, like cars getting crashed, like something getting stolen, and then like it happened all over again within like a 3-month span. Like I was sober for a year, and then I met these men, 5 dudes who all came from like West Virginia, whatever. And they were like, yeah, I know.
Random.
Yeah, I know, right? And they're at the sober living, sober. And then they were all ex-heroin addicts. And like, long story short, one of them relapsed. And I had been working at the sales company, and I was making a lot of money. Like freaking, at first I was making like 5 G's a week, and then I signed them all up onto my team. So then I was making like 15 G's a week. And
it was like a pyramid scheme or something?
Yeah. It was like selling student loan, just definitely a scheme, I thought it was real at the time.
Some type of pyramid shit.
Yeah.
Right when you said I had them on my team and I made more money, I was like, pyramid scheme.
Yeah, literally, I was selling student loan forgiveness programs.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
You thought you were doing right, huh?
Thought I was doing, yeah.
The Lord's work.
For real. And so, because I was making so much money off of them, I was like, okay, well, one of them relapsed. They all got kicked out because of it. I was like, I got to go with them too.
Oh, of course.
So then we were like camping, homeless. I found us a spot. And then literally I relived with those 5. We all relapsed. And it was like the nastiest, like worst, literally just like even thinking about it, like time of my life. And then like funny or not funny story, but another coming to God moment in my addiction was I was like walking the streets, and I was like in a bathing suit, and there was like this church that was like bumping, and I was like, that seems cool, let me go in there. Walked in there in a bathing suit, okay, and I sit in the back row, and I'm like laying down, and it was like one of those things where they're doing like prophecy like over people.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, whatever, like I needed somewhere to just chill for a second. And so then it's like ending, and then the pastor is like, hang on, he's like, there's somebody who's in here who's dealing with addiction, suicide, and witchcraft, and those all 3 was me, okay? And I get up and I run to the bathroom, and I started puking, and then I came out, and then I went up to this lady, like I'll never forget her, Yolanda, and I was like,
shout out Yolanda.
Yeah, right. I was like, this happened, and she was like, sometimes like the body physically reacts to spiritual things, So then I went home, and then I was like, had a suicide plan and everything like that, and then pretty much it was like 2 a.m. Everybody went to sleep, and I was ready to follow through with it. And then it was like this voice in my head that was like basically telling me like, this isn't me that's thinking it. Like, and so then in my mind, I was like, well, if this isn't me, I'm going crazy, So then I looked up psych wards near me, and then it was this psychology and addiction rehab. So then I checked myself in like that freaking night, like 4 a.m. that morning. And then I stayed there. I did the whole 90-day program. And then I came out, and I kept working the program. Like by the time I was done with rehab, all those guys like trashed the house. Like my credit was freaking ruined. Whatever, they were all gone. And so then I just like I went to sober living, and then I was chilling, still selling student loan forgiveness. Even opened up my own student loan forgiveness shop. And then I just got too comfortable, and I decided to get off my meds. I decided to, I was like, you know, I don't need meds. I don't need recovery. I'm just going to focus on God. The next weekend I'm at the club. Like, girl, come on, you know?
A full week.
Literally. And then I relapsed, and then I went back home, and I was on a sick one, you know? And then I was on a sick one for I think, 3 or 4 years. And then just like crazy things, like, you know, just kept happening, you know? And finally, like, it led me to the yoga and the health and wellness. So then I was like, okay, like, I'll just drink. I'm not going to do hard drugs, or I'll just drink and do coke. Like, I'm not going to do anything crazy.
I ain't going to mess with the hard stuff.
Yeah.
I just reposted something that's like, I do coke, I don't do the hard stuff. Sir, that is the hard stuff.
Right? Yeah. And so that's where I was at. And then I was like, I'll go to the sauna and I'll detox during the week, and I'll get super messed up on the weekend, you know? And so I just had this one foot in, 1 foot out. I just couldn't let go of like the old life, you know, until it just broke me again. Like for the freaking, I don't even know, like 10th time. Like the story I just told you is only like a quarter of my story. Damn. You know, maybe not even, like, that's just a little bit of it. That's just kind of like towards the end. It wasn't even like the crazy. It was
like a constant cycle of like, I'm gonna change, and then you'd fall back. I'm gonna change, and I'm gonna fall back.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, well, before I went to the TJ whole thing, I didn't even know about recovery or rehab or anything. So I was like straight in my addiction from like 13 to like 23, like 10 years. Yeah.
You got dropped. That something happened to you in TJ. You got assaulted. You said that so nonchalant. It kind of like threw me off. I was like, damn, she just like.
Right.
Did it take
a while for me to get like that?
Yeah, to be able to like just say it and not like revisit that memory or something.
I mean, in my mind, I think when I still say it, like I still remember like what it looked like on my body, like when I woke up. But I think that before I like numbed myself to it, but like I said, I've done a lot of therapy. I've done a lot of like work on myself to like process like the rape that has happened in my life, like even from when I was like little, you know what I mean? And so I think that for me, like, I no longer have like the perspective of like, why me, God? You know what I mean? I have the perspective of like, there's evil, you know, and I could, just like how you said, like I could dance with the devil and I'm going to end up in situations like that, you know? Before I think I would be like, it's my fault because I got lit, because I took the drugs, and my sponsors like and therapists are like, no, like it's not your fault. That shouldn't have happened to you. You know what I mean? You can
do that without having that be the outcome.
Right, you know? And so that was like my first processing was like, it's not because of me, you know? But my understanding of it was like, if I'm going to dance with the devil, like, you know, other things besides that have happened to me. You know what I mean? Or things similar to that or whatever, you know? And for me, I think that it's just easier or like nonchalant, I guess, for me to talk about just because I've talked about it so much, right? I have, you know, in recovery, we go to meetings, right? So like when you share your story, you share what you're going through, like with another recovering addict, you know? I work a 12-step program, and one of the steps in the program is writing down like resentments and making amends. And so I have written down my resentments towards God, towards myself, you know, and I've also made amends with those kinds of things, you know. So this is all actively like an active healing and active processing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, and also like I know other females who've like been through that, where they are like, you know, where I was, where I can't even like look at a man or like take off my clothes or like, you know what I mean? And then like sharing my story on like me taking a step back from all of that and gaining my self-worth back, gaining like my confidence back, gaining like these things that I felt like was taken from me, which I don't, you know, and me being celibate is one of them. Like, you know, and I plan to be celibate till I'm married. People think I'm crazy, you know, but
props to you.
I wouldn't change anything from my life because it made me who I am today. And like, I'm very blessed and fortunate to be like where I'm at today.
I do appreciate you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Is Maddie your full name or is it Madison?
It's Madison, but I go by Maddie.
Madison, but that's crazy. I've never heard that.
No. I was like, what?
Maddie, no, thank you so much. You want to give them your Instagram so they can find you and tap in and whatever they need?
So my Instagram is miss.mad.love, and that's my personal Instagram. And then I have my business Instagram, which is madly.yin.love.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So tap in, go check out Home Church.
Home Church, 643 G Street.
I had heard about them when he first started. It was like an actual home, wasn't it?
Yeah, it started in his home.
His actual home, yeah. One of my friends goes there, Julia.
Who's it? Julia?
She's Asian. She's Chinese.
Oh, yeah, I do know Julia. Actually.
She was on the pod.
She sometimes goes there.
Oh, okay. She was on the pod. She was a guest.
Nice. We're celebrating on Sunday 3 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it started from the home and then a building and then this building and now we're going to a chapel. It's gonna be sick.
In downtown still?
Logan.
Okay, so
yeah,
like around the corner.
5 minutes. Yeah.
That's dope. Congratulations to Oscar.
Painted all black.
Like, I would love to have him on just because when he started doing the church thing before he was a pastor, just going to church, I wanted to have him on because I was like, bro, I saw the lifestyle he was
living. I know. And me and him like can relate to it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it obviously. Yeah. But it's crazy because, you know, when I tell him about like where I'm at and stuff, like I feel like that's why I love him as my pastor is because he gets me, but he gives me like the biblical like advice, you know? And I love Pastor O.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you again. Thank you for taking some time, and I'm glad it wasn't what you thought it was going to be. So
yeah, no, this was cool. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Till next time. Peace.
Yeah, you looking for me, you can find me at the spot. Chopping it up with Jonah, we talking about what's hot on the block. Up in Dago, man, we bumping. Keeping it confidential, you know this how we coming, we ain't friend. Looking for that real, better tune in and stick by. Put on for the city every time that I dip by. Getting to that gritty every time that we sit down. Promise you it's real every time that I get round. Come on. Been in the field playing, we